What we gonna do right now is go back, way back.
Baby.
What's up? I thought you was gonna start hanging out with the big girls again. What is all this trash? I'm serious. Where you are, not ever. Oh, not the Britney Spears. Hey, how you doing? Oh, but ain't the little leprechaun. Girl, your wings is so up. You look a mess. All about the big girls. What about the big girls?
Big girl, work it, work it, work. Big girl, work it, work it, work. Big girl, you done suck all the fat off your ass. What about the big girls? What about the big girls? What about the big girl? Go big girl, go big girl, go big girl, go big. Hey, look here, man. Look here. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm sorry. If y'all got a problem with me, come talk to me. If you got a problem with me that I like the big girls, come talk to me. Heavy set, but what is it? What's the word? Malicious. There's a word I can't. Somebody help me out. Malicious. I can't even pronounce the word, but wow, that just shows how much I like big girls. I just told them myself. But I love all sizes, but I like them skinny ones, them little petite ones, them ones. I can't pronounce that. I like the ones with the those little petite ones that shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. I'm a Coca-Cola bottle guy. I am not this size. No. Coca-Cola. Woo! Shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. They don't even sell Coca-Cola bottles no more. See, that's what we used to say back in the days. I'm telling my age. I am telling my age right now. Shaped like a Coca-Cola bottle. Look like jelly, but it shakes like jam. Y'all heard that one there before? Y'all never heard that one before. Looks like jelly, but it shakes like jam. Ooh. Let me think about that for a second. Look like jelly, but shake like jam. So that means, when they had a little tight thing, you see them dimples, and then shake like jam. It should be look like jam, but shake like jelly. Shouldn't it be like that? It shouldn't be like that. But I'll figure it out at some point within the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of yours truly, Uncle Luke Podcast. I am happy that you all are here today. We are live in living color. I know y'all see the replays and people are like, look, we don't know when you're live and when you're not. Just look at the damn show. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Now, this Friday, because my son has a baseball game, I'll probably go on a little earlier. I'll tape it, but it will be on at 5 p.m. We continuously keep to the schedule. And then what we normally do is we'll replay the show throughout the course of the day. And that is what we do. Okay, so that's what, and night. So, because some people are working, there are other people that are working right now. They can't see the show. So to only run the show one time a day, that's not good. We'll run it throughout the day and throughout the night. There are people who are driving in their truck. They got big truck drivers, and they want to hear some good stuff at about 2:00 in the morning to entertain them while they're getting from one point to the next. And that's what I try to do. I look out for everybody. That's what it's all about. I try to look out for everybody. We got a really big show today. I want to thank everybody on my YouTube channel, Uncle Luke TV, for being there. Shouts out to my girl Glow. And I want to thank everybody that's on Facebook Live. Facebook Live has really been showing up lately on the Uncle Luke Show podcast. And then also my good friends over there at Twitch and my other good friends over there at Instagram and X. And y'all over there right now, just like, share, and subscribe to the show. We need to have a big audience today. I got Streeter coming in here. I got my man Mike Silver from The Athletic. He was formerly with Sports Illustrated. Got some gems. He got some absolute gems. The stories that this man is going to be telling on this show today. I want y'all to get really involved in the chat. Go right now and Google him. Go right now and Google Mike Silver. So when you have questions to ask in the chat, then you'll ask him, and you want to know about certain things that happen along the way, because he got mad stories. Hey, look, let's get right into it, people. TPS is serious. TPS is serious. I'm gonna take that. Then I'm gonna take what Ron DeSantis just did in the in Florida House and Senate today. But TPS is serious, people. Donald Trump, like I said before, and I've been telling you all this from the beginning, he ran it up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court today just heard oral arguments from both sides of whether or not they should deport Haitians, Venezuelans, and Somalians. And they heard these arguments today, and now they got to make a decision. Again, this is a Donald Trump Supreme Court, so the likelihood of them of the people who are trying to protect these good folks' status slim to none. This Supreme Court has been favoring Trump for a very, very long time. Listen, just check this out. I can't get up.
Breaking news from the Supreme Court, which was active this morning. The court has just struck down Louisiana's congressional map that includes 2 majority black districts, calling it an unconstitutional gerrymander. This decision is considered a win for Republicans and could have major implications for the upcoming midterm election. In this 6-3 decision, the court's conservative majority upheld a lower court ruling that found Louisiana map makers relied too heavily on race when they redrew the state's voting boundaries. The ruling comes as states push to change their congressional maps in an attempt to give Democrats or Republicans an advantage in future elections. The decision now effectively changes the way courts will evaluate future challenges to voting maps when those challenges invoke the Civil Rights Act. Also today, the Supreme Court moving on to oral arguments in a case challenging President Donald Trump's attempt to cancel temporary deportation protections for Haitian and Syrian nationals. The program lets migrants stay in the U.S. for at least 18 months because of a few things: war, natural disasters, or extraordinary and temporary conditions.
And so there you have it. There you have it. You have a situation right now. You have a situation. So let's think about this. So Supreme Court, now watch this. They struck down Louisiana and said they were trying to add 2 seats based on race. And it was based on race, so that set precedent of the court. So now Florida took away 2 or 4 seats, and the lawsuits are going to be flying based on race, right? So now let's see if the Supreme Court strike down what Ron DeSantis just did. Let's see if that happens. Let's see if that really, really goes down. I'm sorry, that tape won't pull up for some reason. But again, I keep telling people elections have consequences. When you decided not to vote for Kamala Harris, that's what you get. You get Donald Trump and him packing the court. When you don't vote in Florida state elections, that's what you get. A House and a Senate majority, and the majority rules. See, the bottom line is what Donald Trump is trying to do, people, right here. And it's sad. It is sad. I mean, it's sad for more ways than one. As you know, I'm running for Congress, right? And I'm running in Florida's Congressional District 20. It directly affects me and the people that I was going to be representing. Belgrade, Pahokee, South Bay. Y'all been hearing me talk about these people for the longest on this show here. The people in Riviera Beach, you've been hearing me talk about these folks for the longest. The issues of Riviera Beach with homeless, gentrification, the water plant, where these people are that need to get these water plant redone. You've heard me talk about these things in this particular cycle of me running for this office. So now these people are represented by somebody who don't look like them. They have issues. The people in Belgrade and Pahokee and South Bay, I mean, a rural area, African Americans, Haitians, they've been killed by the prison closing down, the Big Sugar automating their plants, people coming in telling the mayors and all them, look, we want to come and do some redevelopment, but the redevelopment don't fit the community. This is bad. I mean, listen, it's bad for more reasons. But here's an expert lady who's up there, and a senator who's running for Senate, a senator who's running for senator. Listen how she took on this challenge today. I love it. How you doing, young lady? I know you had a tough day today.
I did have a tough day, and I'm in my Florida room, so apologies for
Oh no, no,
the
no, no.
background.
I called you at the last minute, and I was just praying that you come on. I already had my clip. I was gonna talk about you and your race and how you're so passionate about it. But I'm just happy to have you right here.
No, for sure. Thanks for having me on. Look, I just it is not in me to sit and allow people to lie and to destroy our country, and me have platitudes and just basic debate with decorum. Like, I'm like, the folks are like, you're lacking decorum. Fuck decorum. Like, democracy is falling down right now. And some would say that democracy was never really here, and so it's actually America falling. And I just don't understand for the life of me why people aren't so pissed off right now. They're literally making it so that Black people, Latino people, and the Jewish community, like, that they lose representation here in our state. And I have a problem with that. Like, they violated the law today. Like, they did some illegal shit. And so to sit there, absolutely not. Absolutely not. The blood of my ancestors was boiling in my veins. And I'm not going to sit idly by while people do that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously we saw the passion. I mean, you're always a passionate representative. That's why I love you so much, and I always support you and support your run for Senate. I mean, when you see these type of things go on, where they're trying to disenfranchise African Americans and they're in violation of the Civil Rights Act, things that have been put in place so many years ago. I mean, look at what just happened, Supreme Court in the Louisiana case where they struck that case down in what Ron DeSantis did. I mean, I always go back to these 50,000 votes. These 50,000 votes, it would have been different. You know, I go back to that. I mean, Andrew, whatever happened after the fact, but he would have won. We would have been in a different situation. This would not be happening right now. And I keep telling people why elections are so, it has consequences. And that's why, I beg and plead everybody, I know we're not talking about that, but you need to go vote for Miss Nixon right now for Senate. I mean, that will be the ultimate get back, because we are where we're at right now. But what's the next steps to straighten this out? I know it's gonna be
for sure. So there's gonna be some lawsuits, as always. Mark Elias, I believe is his name. He's a national attorney that always sues around like voting rights issues and that type of stuff, and a direct attacks on our democracy. And so he's pulling together a lawsuit, and a lot of groups that do things like voter registration, and that work in Black and Brown communities, they're going to pursue a lawsuit as well. And so what's next for us as far as being members of the community? Y'all, we got to organize, right? Like, we got to get people so freaking mad about not just what happened today, but the fact that they're spending nearly $2 billion a day on a war that we didn't ask for, when we need that money to make sure that we are expanding access to quality health care. We need that money to make sure that our children have access to quality education from birth, right? Like allowing things like universal pre-K to all the way to college, or vocational programs, right? Like, there's a lot of stuff that we could be doing here in our country instead of looking out for these greedy corporations that make more money when we go to war. And so we have to organize around that and let people know that it doesn't have to be this way. Like, it does not have to be this way. Things could be so much better and so great if we start electing just regular, everyday, hardworking people who come from the community, who believe that everyday people should dictate what our economies look like and what our communities look like. We can make sure that, like, if we did that, right, like, we would make sure that big oil is no more, that we have like renewable energy, and we're creating clean jobs and actually positively impacting the environment, right? Like we could also make sure that we end things like Citizens United and get big money out of politics so that our little bit of change, right, could go a long way as it relates to folks who are running for office. There's just so much more that could happen. We should just do something different. Clearly, the shit that's happening right now, like it ain't working. And so the way in which we change it is like change the people at the top. And so I just really want folks to know we got to lean in. There's actually a national strike, a national general strike that is happening on this Friday, May Day, in honor of May Day, which is International Workers' Day, where they highlight like the labor movement and unions. And so I'm calling for folks to strike on Friday. Do not, if you can't, I mean, I'm gonna keep my kids out of school. You ain't gotta do that. But I'm also not shopping. I'm shutting my business down that day as well. I am gonna pay my workers. But I just feel like we need to stand in solidarity, because the problem is these big greedy businesses and corporations are padding the campaign coffers and making, like, allowing these elected officials to put forth policies that are dividing us and keeping us mad at each other, and not seeing the fact that they are cutting the state minimum wage here in Florida, gonna allow people to actually make $7.25 an hour, because literally my colleague are saying things like, oh, the American dream is being destroyed if we have to pay people $15 an hour. Like, are you serious right now? And that is not even a living wage, $15 an hour, right? And so, like, we need to make sure that we are protecting and defending Social Security. We need to make sure that we are shoring up and properly resourcing the VA. But we can't do this when we have these corporations that cut these deals with these corrupt politicians to privatize the VA, to privatize prisons and detention centers because they make more money, which is why there's really a push for mass deportation. And then they ain't even really deporting people. They just putting them in these detention facilities that are for profits, right? Like, and it's making people money the same way with these private prisons. Why would you invest in education if you make more off of our children going to private prisons? And so these are things that I am advocating against. And it's all on my platform, and we just we gotta do something different, y'all.
Yeah, you're right about that. I have a young lady that's been friends of mine, but that's been a friend for many, many years. Her husband, her friend, I mean, they deported the husband. He's alligator Alcatraz. They took him to Texas. They brought him back. They took him to Texas. They dropped him off in Mexico, told him to get out the bus. He didn't get out the bus. Then they brought him back here. And it's like, he's a Haitian guy. And it's like, okay, well, why did he send him back to his own Haiti? And it was like, no, they don't send him back, just like you just said. That bed is worth about $250 a day. I'm like, oh shit! So they really got a hotel going on here. And
yes, it's money.
Privatizing, and the government and their comrades are making money off of people in these detention centers. They're not sending them where they say they're gonna send them in.
No,
just like you say, so it's amazing.
It's a racket. Like, they're getting rich. Like Alligator Alley, the Everglades Detention Center, I know they want to call it Alligator Alcatraz, like $92 million on porta potties.
Wow.
I would have loved, like, that's a nice contract to have. $92 million for porta potties. We know them porta potties ain't cost that much money. Like, are you serious? $92 million they spent on that. We're absolutely ridiculous. And then what we heard from the detainees that were there was that, like, stuff was overflowing. So clearly, like, somebody just got a lot of money and there's nothing to show for what we spend our money on. And that's taxpayer dollars. They spent over $500 million on this. And that money was supposed to go towards our communities in time of a natural disaster, not in time of an expensive political stunt, which is what Ron DeSantis did. Y'all,
Yeah.
we ain't mad. People ain't mad enough for me, Luke. They're not mad
No,
enough
they
for
man, they
me.
just sitting there. Everybody worrying about what Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson doing. They weren't. They're more outraged on Megan Thee Stallion or however you pronounce her name and Klay Thompson. And that's where we got to get people out of. We got to get people out of being upset about things that do not affect them, but get them upset about things that directly affect them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the challenge. I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Notice,
For sure,
you know,
for
hey,
sure.
All
All right,
you know,
see you
you're a friend of
later.
the show, and make sure everybody in the chat go vote for Miss Nixon. Go to her website. What's your website?
AngieNixon.com. AngieNixon.com. No, I don't think that I'm related to that guy. So, you know.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate
Bye.
you. All right. Hey, man. Hey, look. That she showed out today. I got to show this clip before I bring on the next guest. She showed out today. This is what I'm talking about.
That is a violation of the Constitution.
She moved. Oh.
Our democracy. That is a violation of the Constitution. It is. It's a violation of the Constitution. I'm out of order for y'all are doing illegal things to the state of Florida. It is out of order. It is out of order. It is out of order.
If you don't vote for her to represent you in the United States Senate, I don't know who you will vote for. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome my man Streeter, my partner in crime. He comes on here hanging out with me straight from Footballville. Streeter, there's a lot of things going on today. We got a very special guest today.
I see. I walked past him in the back room.
We got a big time guest. Look, Streeter, you know you always mess with me about introducing these people because they're my friends, and I just we got this guy coming on. You be like, oh man,
right?
Oh, you supposed to. Well, go do it big. The guy who I'm getting ready to bring on here is my good friend for many, many, many years. We've done a lot of capers together. It's like Batman and Robin. I was looking for us singing at the Super Bowl party. I could not find that footage. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, his work. He was the big time writer at Sports Illustrated when Sports Illustrated at the height of their he was the guy. He was the guy in Sports Illustrated. Athletic, Yahoo. I mean, when you talk about Streeter, when you talk about a writer, like they never talk about these writers who go from one team and get traded. Like, you know, he's the NIL he's the transfer portal of writers. Like, he's a hired gun. Like, this dude going to negotiation when his contract is up, and thousands of outlets line up to try to get his services. Ladies and gentlemen, no other than the one and only Mike Silver. Join Mike.
Now that is an intro, but listen, I would normally talk about how great I am because that's one of my favorite topics. Obviously, you are one of my all-time favorite humans and artists, so I can't really do it around you. But dude, Angie Nixon, was that today?
That was today.
Oh yeah, God. You know what she is, Luke? She's another loudmouth, just like us.
That's right. That's why we're all friends. Ron DeSantis, his Senate voted to take away 4 seats.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know you know me and you talk politics. And basically, Mike, he took away the Jewish vote.
Nice.
That's what he did. That's what this fool did. I mean, he combined Jared Moskowitz and Debbie Wasserman Schultz district, which is not good. You know what I mean? And so and she was like, man, I'm not going to sit here. Jumped out there, Angie jumped out there and went off on him. So, I mean, I love her for that.
How does this, Luke, how does this affect you and your run for the House of Representatives?
So the thing is, what it did was it took our good friend, which is sad, my original district was Belgrade, Pahokee, South Bay. This is Rick Jackson and all those guys over there. Curse all those top of the line football players, run after the rabbits. Yeah. And it took away Riviera Beach, those parts of Palm Beach, more black areas. And they put Ricky Jackson's district, and he's over there right now screaming and hollering. I got to call him up, console him, and put him in a Republican district.
Ooh.
Now they already said, yeah, exactly. They put him in a hardcore Trump district. So they are hurting for so much resources. They've been trying to gentrify the area, and they've been holding up the fight, and they were looking forward to this election and hopefully getting me in to be able to do some of the things to bring back the resources that they desperately need. So it puts me in Broward. In Broward, it shrunk the district, and it placed me in Broward. So I have a lot of Hill Lakes, Pompano, Deerfield, quarterback from the Ravens, his area. So I'm in that area there now. It shrunk the area, but it took those areas away that they needed services and taken away. So it's not for a candidate. It's not a bad thing, but for me and the things I wanted to do with Ricky and all of them over there in those areas, it's a sad day.
I'm sorry. Well, this is just, I know I saw a lot of tears about my state, California, and then more recently, Virginia, where they literally exercised the will of the people and redistricted, which, a lot of people don't like gerrymandering, period. But I think when you look at the totality of what's going on, it's the only, sane response if you're trying to have remotely a fair fight, but you still are following the will of the people, as opposed to what's going on there with obviously Representative Nixon voicing very eloquently that this is not, according to the state constitution, this is not anywhere remotely okay. It is out of order. And obviously it is just the latest railroaded through thing by one side of this equation that doesn't care. But then, man, they cue those violins when it happens the other way around. They freak out.
Yeah. And that's what happened in Louisiana. I mean, the Supreme Court heard, and it's going to be funny because what the Supreme Court heard and struck down from Louisiana, they say it was based on race and not giving 2 seats. Now they're going to hear the same argument based on race, taking away seats. I want to see how they rule when this case goes up there. But again, it's all about the midterms and trying to control the midterms and not have him lose the House because he knows he's going to get impeached, and lose the Senate because he knows he's going to get impeached in that manner there. But Mike, thank you for joining the show, my brother. I see you got the cat. Hey, this is my good friend Streeter. Streeter is the guru of youth sports.
Nice.
He has. I mean, this dude got archived footage of Jeremiah Smith at 8 years old. What, 6 years old, Streeter?
8. Lamar Jackson, Malachi Tony, when they were all kids.
He interviewed this guy, Mike. He has an eye for talent. He almost like me when it comes to, the ladies. This guy interviewed Mendoza.
The ladies.
You see the clip of Mendoza? He's at this camp.
Hold on, I got to go get my cow hat and put it on now. Hold on.
Oh, there you go. I know that was gonna hurt your feelings, Mike.
I got a show out here now. All right, let's do this.
Yeah, but
hey, Mike think I'm a Gator fan, Luke? You think I'm a Gator fan? No, this is...
Yeah, you got that damn Gator hat on.
How's that even allowed on here?
Let's do it the right way, Mike. Let's do it the right way.
Okay, there we go. ACC. HBC.
Hey, this man interviewed your guy at a University of Miami camp with thousands of kids, and he was a little skinny guy, and nobody was looking at him. He couldn't even get an offer, couldn't even get a look. This dude that was interviewing him talking about, hey man, I like what you did. You lit this shit up. And then he couldn't even get a walk on and end up at Cal. See, Cal, this man here, Streeter, is a Cal. When Cal beat Miami in that gloomy night, I didn't hear the end of this shit with Mike Silver. Yeah, you know we know we beat your Hurricanes, but then we got some get back.
Yeah,
and I stayed up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Luke, I'll never forget covering that game. It must have been in the early 90s at the Orange Bowl. It was just a non-conference game, and I drove down Flagler, and I was like, oh, so this is what it's like to come in here. I saw the real Hurricanes. That was fun.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike. So, man, I mean, we've done some crazy things in our days. We've been hanging. I mean, we're friends for life, Streeter. Me and this guy right here. This is my brother from another mother. I mean, some of these stories. I mean, when you was at Sports Illustrated and the story and talk about the one with Edgerrin James where you had to find him. That was your story when you put him on the cover, right?
I'm trying to think which one was that when I spent the whole Memorial Day weekend with him and he tried to get me to go to Cancun and I had to disappear. That might have been that one. I just remember EJ, like, I mean, I didn't know how unbelievable he is. So, you know how Sports Illustrated had all the fact checkers, and I just remember EJ, like, he was like, you can say we're at a strip club. I'm like, oh, that's new, and then he was like, hey, listen, you can't say that I have a girlfriend, but you can't say that I don't. There are so many great Edgerrin James quotes that I over the years, and listen, all the Miami guys are good talkers, but one of my all-time favorites is, so I go down Memorial Day weekend and spend the whole weekend with him. It's like Samari Roll, the whole crew. And, EJ, he stays up all night, bowling, whatever, playing games, having fun. And also, by the way, for a, white dude from Northern California, Memorial Day in Miami that weekend was pretty damn good in the 2000s. Like, don't get me wrong. So what happened was he tried to get me to go to Cancun to extend the weekend. And I was like, yeah. I just got to go back to the room. And I just went straight to the airport and got out and flew to California. I was like, yes, I did a book with Dennis Rodman. Yes, I partied with Uncle Luke. But I got to pull the plug at some point. So I get home. So what had happened was there was a voluntary mini camp that was going on that same weekend, and it just became a thing. You have Bill Polian, who was kind of like the hard-ass general manager of the Colts, said publicly, he should have been here, which you're not even supposed to say. And then even Peyton Manning, if I recall, kind of said some stuff publicly. So my editor calls me up and he goes, okay, dude, this is a thing now. We're writing about him rolling with you that whole weekend, and he didn't go to minicamp. You got to hit him and get a quote from him. So I called EJ. He's probably still in Cancun. And I go, hey, listen, man, I got to put a quote in up high about you missing this minicamp. And he goes, man, I only went to college for 2.5 years, and even I know the meaning of the word voluntary.
Exactly.
Hey, boy, I mean, it's I mean, it's like your stories, it's not like a regular writer that writes the story. It's like a movie. It's like the way you write, when you read it, it's like you're really in it. You're like in the moment, like, okay, the dollars are flying and all these things. I mean, what made you take that approach in writing versus an approach of a traditional writer. I wouldn't call it no traditional
That's
writer.
such a guy. That is such a great question because it's true, right? Like I was taught in high school, like don't be the story, be an impassive, detached observer, and I was like, man, I want to get in. And Hunter S. Thompson, Tom Wolfe, dudes were kind of doing that from the '60s and '70s, and I was like, a part of it is I'm just self-absorbed and arrogant. Part of it is I grew up in LA and around all these celebrities, kids. And so I was just like, whatever, they ain't shit. I'm important. And then part of it, honestly, the best thing that ever happened to me, and to turn it to real talk for a second, is LA had a mandatory court order to desegregate the schools that was in effect when I was growing up. And so going to public school, I had fully integrated schools from 7th grade on. And yeah, I had the best of both worlds. Mostly it was kids getting bussed in to our school. But I mean, what a gift to be able to grow up with Black people and Hispanic people. And, when you're a kid, that all the bigoted stereotypes are bullshit. When you're around all the people, like, I feel like, nah, that's just fucking bullshit. Like I see it every day. So not like I would have been inclined to believe that shit anyway, but like, when you're all commingling together that, that none of that shit is accurate. So,
Right.
And so like, honestly, when I got into sports writing, it was a lot of old white guys, a lot of white people who just didn't seem comfortable talking to brothers in the locker room. And I was like way more comfortable. And, and then fast forward to my self-importance or my arrogance. And I got to Sports Illustrated. I'm like, well, I want to meet my heroes. So next thing you know, I'm doing a story on sports, hip hop, and rock and roll. And I'm like, I'm fucking calling Luther Campbell and I'm getting his number. And because, dude, I mean, we all saw, like, I'm a big, I'm a student of the 60s and free speech. I went to Berkeley and all my heroes who stood up. And, the stories about you, first of all, just the songs were unbelievable. Like, I think a lot of people didn't get it at first. And, like, a lot of my friends didn't understand rap anyway. But I was like, oh, this is what we're doing now. This, like, it was rock star behavior, I'm gonna go and then, the stories of you getting, arrested on stage and then, recording Fuck Martinez as you got bailed out. I mean, those like, so I was like, this guy's one of my heroes, but also I knew how embedded in the sports world you'd become, and the NCAA was so full of hypocrisy. And I think when I finally was like, I have to meet this guy was when there was going to be a quarterback competition in Miami, and one of the dudes was Black. I think it was it Ryan Collins was his
Ryan
name?
Collins, yeah.
And you were like, okay, cool. It's time for a Black man to get his shot. And you said publicly, they better start this guy or I'm giving Miami the death penalty. And, that's like something a rapper would say for effect. And a lot of people were like, oh, no. I was like, okay, I love this guy. So somehow I got your number, and next thing I know, you and I are kicking it in South Beach for like 2 days. And at the end, we went to, like, I don't know, pick Wet Willie's somewhere. What are you, Clevelander? And who's at the table 3 tables over? Ryan Collins. And I'm like, okay, this is. I think I need to hang with this guy more. And now you can't get rid of me.
Yeah, that was a great. It was Ryan Collins. Ryan Collins was already starting the year before. Coach left. Then who was the 2021?
Dennis
Davis comes in, and then Bush Davis is like,
Bush Davis,
yeah. Ryan Collins averaging 400 yards a game. I'm like, oh, fuck that. You're not getting ready to do that. So, hey, you did this. I mean, you did the story on Kurt Warner. Like, you broke the story on Kurt Warner that nobody knew. Nobody knew about him working at the grocery store. I mean, talk about how that came about. Because, we look at football players. Oh, football player. Yeah, we saw him come from, what was it, the Arena League, and he goes into the NFL. That was a story in itself. But then the article that you did about this man where he was literally working at, I mean, talk about how did you, I mean, again, it goes into your stories and how your stories are. It's like a movie.
Yeah, well, and by the way, I did back-to-back books with Dennis Rodman and Kurt Warner. They were very different.
I definitely, we definitely want to know about the book with Rodman, because I know
Rodman's sample line would be like, "One time I fucked this horny ass bitch on a frozen lake in Michigan," and Kurt Warner book sample line would be like, "Jesus is the way to salvation, and if not, you will face eternal damnation." And I love both guys. But so here's what happened. This is actually a funny story. No one really knows this. So in 1999 at Sports Illustrated, the Denver Broncos had won 2 Super Bowls in a row, and then John Elway retired in 99. Bubby Brister was playing quarterback. They started 0-3. And it was like, damn, what's wrong with the Broncos? They're 2-time defending champs, are 0-3. So they sent me out, Sports Illustrated, to Denver. Now, in those situations when SI would show up back in the day, it was like, oh, damn, the Grim Reaper's here. Like, we're 0-3. So the game goes real bad. Terrell Davis blows out his knee. It was never the same. They bench Bubby Brister, put in Brian Greasy. They lose to the Jets to go to 0-4. It's real bad. And I'd been out drinking, this is going to shock you, with some of the guys in the days leading up to the game. And they had already told me, hey, after the game, you come with us. We're going to this place called the Chop House in Denver. It's a steakhouse, but it's a brewery, and they give us a big room, and we all – drink. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I worked the locker room, and, it's kind of a downcast locker room. I kind of broke the news to a couple of people that TD had torn his ACL for sure. And, it was not a pleasant scene. Now I go to the Chop House, and drinks are flowing, and people are saying some funny shit. Like, one guy grabs a fork and he goes, "Hey, you can stick this in me because we are done." Another guy points to a beer tank and he goes, "See that tank? We're going right into that tank." And, I'm there. And so I go home. I write all night that night when I go back, and I'm like, I'm going for gallows humor here. Like, people will understand if I write this stuff. They're not literally saying we're going to tank. They're saying, like, man, it's real bad, and we are, doing gallows humor. But it was not taken in that spirit. Denver was a 2-newspaper town. The cover said, quote, "We're finished. The Broncos season is over. Just ask them." And Adam Schefter was calling the Chop House. He was a Denver reporter at the time, trying to find out which players were there. There were like 20 dudes there. And it became this like major saga. And I was like, oh my God. So the next week, Kurt Warner had started hot out of nowhere. And SI sent me to St. Louis, and I called the PR guy, and he was like, "Hey, you're not going to love this guy, Kurt Warner. He's not your kind of guy. He doesn't really hang out. He just does boring stuff with his family." I go, like what? He goes, like, go to church. I go, that's perfect for me. I need something like that right now. Like, I need Jesus. The opposite. And I ended up going to church with Kurt and Brenda and, Zach and Jesse, who were little. And he had an even better game. And we had that "Who Is This Guy" cover. And then, all the way to the Super Bowl. We sold the book deal after the Super Bowl, and we wrote the book. And 21 years later, got made into a movie, American Underdog, and I got to walk the red carpet at Chinese theater and live out some dreams. But
I know that had to be a beautiful thing.
It was amazing. It was so fun. And it is funny, going back to back Rodman and Kurt with books, because I love both guys. But Rodman, this is what it was like with Rodman. It would be like, hey, fly to Chicago or wherever you are. We're going to go out and party for like 2 days, 2 nights. And then eventually we'd be on the treadmill or something. He'd go, take out your tape recorder, bro. And he would say a bunch of shit. And then, because my wife would always be like, how long are you going to be? I'd be like, I don't know, man. It just kind of comes out. And then I could have written anything as Dennis. And he would have just been like, cool. Yeah, sure. I said that. And, that's how the process went. Well, with Kurt, it was much different. It was like, hey, fly to St. Louis. I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll spend, 3 to 6 taping. We'll go out to dinner with the kids and Brenda. We'll come back. We'll do another couple hours. I'll drive you back to the hotel, And then Kurt wanted to see every line. And I had to say some stuff to him like, dude, let's not get into eternal damnation like on page 73. Let's put that back a little bit. And but one time I actually had to say to Kurt, I remember the moment, I said, hey, dude, you handle cover 2, I'll handle the commas.
Hey, I got a question for you. My first time being on the sideline at Cal was 2 years ago when Miami played Cal.
Yeah, that crazy
Cam
game.
Ward was down 2. Like, where were you when Miami faced Cal that night with Cam Ward, Miami down 20 points? Like, how did you experience that game?
I'm so glad you asked because, one thing at Cal is, and this is multiple sports, it extends usually to basketball and sometimes women's basketball, but sometimes we just get our ass kicked because, you can understand that, like we're Berkeley and there's a lot of, we care about academics and sometimes we don't have the institutional will to go after it in sports the way that other schools do. I understand that. But what I don't understand is decades long, we will blow a lead and find a way to lose a game that you can't imagine we could lose with the best of them. And I'm conditioned, as are all my Cal friends, like it's a horrible thing. So when Cal was up 22 or 24, 5 points in the fourth quarter, and then, as soon as it got to 20, we were all thinking the same thing. Like we're like 1, 2, okay, that's how we blow it, 3 touchdowns. And so it doesn't always happen, but you certainly always think that it could happen. And I'm on a bunch of group texts with different Cal people, including one of my other rock star friends, Adam Duritz of County Crows, who went there. And, it's all my college friends, other college friends. But one of the group texts is really big and unwieldy. It was like a logistical text before the Cal Stanford game one year, and it's kind of lived on. And there's this dude, and he knows who he is. And he decided on that group text to start talking about we won. And all of us know, like, no, you do not fucking say that. We're Cal. And at one point I said, dude, we're Cal. And he goes, that's right. We're Cal. And we're beating Miami. And like, as soon as he sent that text, like my sons were side texting me like, oh, we lost. Like it's over. So like, as soon as he sent that damn text, I'm like, okay, how are we going to blow this game? So sure enough, Cam Ward, like it's all happening. But we had one last chance to not blow the game. And what it came down to was a targeting review. I'm like, okay. On a positive note, I think that guy just tried to kill Mendoza on that play. It kind of looks like targeting. But then, I'm also a pragmatist. I'm like, on a negative note, the ACC refs kind of have some incentive to have Miami go through and maybe get some money for the conference. So I'm not saying
you got to know that. You got to know, Mike. You got to know that.
And listen,
these ACC refs, they're not used to being in California that time of night.
Yeah, if we were the team trying to get the money for the conference, and we're new, we're happy to be in the ACC. Trust me, like we're like, thanks for letting us in. We appreciate you. So, one thing that I did think, Streeter, about that day though, which is interesting. So, it was a big deal for Cal to get College Game Day, and that happened in the morning. So a lot of people had to peak early, and I guess keep partying straight through or take a nap or whatever. And that was very new for Cal fans. And I didn't go to College Game Day, but one of the things that kind of happened, and it spilled into social media, is a lot of Cal people were acting like that was the greatest, biggest thing to happen to us to get College Game Day. And I feel this way about Heisman campaign, all of it. I'm like, look, sure, it's nice that we had College Game Day. That's a cool thing. But like, let's not confuse that with what actually fucking matters, which is winning football games. And that's usually done by getting good players. And listen, we're in an era now where you can pay the motherfuckers. So like, and we got a lot of alums. We're the University of California, one of the greatest academic institutions ever on earth. And we, you know, like a lot of people go out and ball and make money. So like now I'm like, look, we don't even have to cheat. We can just go pay dudes. So you'll be happy to know, Luke, that we went out and hired Tosh Lupoy, who he was one of the great recruiters in America already. He played at Cal. He had a class at Cal that was like Shaq Thompson, Eric Armstead, Stephon Diggs. You can look it up. They all committed. And then Washington stole Tosh. They all decommitted. And then we've never been the same since. He's a bear. He knows how to get dudes. And now we got money coming in. So all I can say is we finally got a chance to step up and play with the big boys. And whether or not we get College Game Day or any of that bullshit, I think we're finally got a chance to come up and try to do it the real way by paying the kids who worked so hard for our pleasure.
I was there again. I was there early at game day that morning. And when me and my girl Steph got to the game that night, we got to the game and we were tired. And the game hadn't even started yet. And then it hit me. I was like, holy shit, we in trouble, Luke. Because if we're tired, the players are tired. We wasn't like I was like, holy crap. That's probably a lot of those players' first time going to Cal. And that guy that actually hit the quarterback in Wesley Saint was one of the guys I covered since he was 9 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad to live to fight another day. I wish we gotten the call. But it's funny. Like, you know what's funny is like Cal fans try to navigate the ACC shit because Stanford came with us. We obviously hate them, but we don't have the teams we really hate, like SC, you know, and UCLA and Oregon. Like, we want to beat their ass, but they're not there. So we're always like, all right, man, let's go beat Boston College, you know, like, damn it, you know. So like, the only teams we've mustered any negativity towards, and it's, you know, like Clemson and Florida State fought to keep us out, right? Clemson, Florida State? Yeah, Clemson and Florida State tried to keep us out. So we're like, we don't like that. And then North Carolina voted against us, which was like, really? North Carolina? Like University of North Carolina? So we could kind of get it for North Carolina a little, Clemson and Florida State, but like, we can't really like get mad at anybody like, oh man, we got to beat Louisville. To hell with them. You know, Wake Forest, we're going to put it on you. We're just kind of like, wait, where's Wake Forest again? What? Oh, Chris Paul went there. Yeah, like, okay, Tim Duncan. Like, we don't really know. So we're just happy to be in a conference. It's our games are on TV now. Like, it's better than Pac-12 network bullshit. But yeah, I think in football we finally got a chance though. Keep an eye. We got this guy who replaced Mendoza, was a true freshman lefty quarterback from Hawaii, so he'll be a sophomore this year. Jaron Kiave Sangapolatele. Dude, he's nice. Unfortunately, last year our receivers were like me, Jeff Darlington, and like Dan Lebitard. So it didn't look too good, but like we got some guys this year.
Hey, you actually got my running back who I coached last year.
In
high school. Yeah. Let me ask you. You did, me and you. I want you to tell the people the story because I tell people all the time this story about the Super Bowl when we were in the office and a player came and store next door and they had all these chains and stuffs and whips and everything.
No, this is exactly what happened. And some people, because Super Bowl Media Day used to be a thing, and some people will remember one of the great Super Bowl media moments. So this is the story. It's Monday night. the night before media day. It's the Miami Super Bowl, the same one where Eugene Robinson took a little trip down Biscayne Boulevard 6 nights later or 5 nights later on Saturday night before the game. But on Monday night, I just went and had dinner with Ray Buchanan of the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Ray Buchanan was a great dude, really good player, had been with the Colts, and I knew him really well. And I remember, for background, the game before the Super Bowl, I went out with Ray the day before they played the Randy Moss Minnesota Vikings, that great team in the NFC Championship game. I went out in Minneapolis with Ray, and we're talking about, could the Falcons pull the upset? But we also understood that there had never been a black coach of the Super Bowl, and that if the Vikings won, Danny Green was going to be the coach of the Super Bowl. And this is in early 1999, and Ray Buchanan says, man, he goes, but I'll tell you, if we get a black coach of the Super Bowl, he goes, for black people, that'd be the biggest thing since the OJ verdict. And, I mean, you cannot get better quotes than that unless you're Andrew Gabe. So Ray and I go out on Monday night and we go to dinner in South Beach. And, I'm telling him that you and I are friends, and that's back when you had the old office on 12th, right?
Yeah, 12th.
Yeah. Luke Record said, by the way, I have to tell my George Clinton story after this because it's amazing, because you introduced me to George Clinton there one night. But I'm like, yeah, Luke he's right here. And I'll bet he's in the office. And he's like, really? Oh, my God. He's like, if I could meet Uncle Luke, it would just be. And I was like, really? I go, well, let's call him. So I call, and you're there, and you're like, yeah, come on over. So we finish our dinner. It's getting kind of late now. We walk in. You have us in that your office right in the front. And, we're talking. And Ray says, well, Luke, you're the perfect person for me to ask because you're a showman. He said, media days tomorrow, and all eyes are going to be on us. And I really want to make a statement. I really want to do something that gets attention. And I've been thinking, we're the underdogs. So I was thinking maybe I should wear a dog collar. And Luke's like, that's a good idea. I like it. And you guys are kind of riffing on it. And then he goes, it's almost midnight now. And he goes, only problem is it's like 11:50 p.m. Where the hell am I going to find a dog collar? And you and I look at each other and start laughing because it's South Beach. So you send me out to go find the dog collar. You and Ray are kicking it. The first place I go to on Collins, I'm like, hey, you guys have any dog collars? They're like, nah, well, we only got one, but it's got rhinestones on it. I'm like, that'll be perfect. So now we go to the club and Sap shows up. It's a typical old night with Luke. We go to the club, Sap comes, all these people are there. I'm holding the damn collar somehow, let the nerdy Jewish guy, make him hold the damn collar, and everybody's partying. I'm holding the collar. Well, I got so drunk that I had to Irish goodbye. I was like, I know it sounds like I always do because of the Cancun thing, but this was one of I'll usually hang till the end, but I couldn't do it. So the last thing I remember is handing Ray the collar and running outside and finding a cab. And I woke up, and it's the only time I ever missed media day. I overslept. I was so hungover. My head was pounding. First thing I did when I woke up was turn on ESPN, and the Falcons had already gone. Now the Broncos were coming. And the first thing I see is, well, the big story of media day was Ray Buchanan, the dog. And I just see a close-up of Ray with the dog collar. He's wearing sunglasses. And I'm like, how are you awake? And then remember he and Shannon Sharp had a thing. Remember he was doing the horse thing because Shannon, he was going, Ray was like in with the dog collar and the glasses going like, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? So sure enough, that was Uncle Luke. So that's why when we did the Devontae Freeman thing, I want to say this was now 17 years later when we did the Devontae Freeman thing, you said to me as we were plotting it, hey, man, this ain't our first, this isn't our first act of Super Bowl planning and exhibitionism. Like they don't know who they're messing with, and then we engineered that whole thing.
That was, hey, Streeter, that was the Mike broke the story where it was Devontae Freeman is going to ask for a new contract next year. And the people lost their mind. We already knew everybody was going to, he needs to be focused on the game. He needs to be focused on the game. It was like, Freeman, stay focused on the game. Marshall Falk and all the rest of these people, they're going to ask you questions about how you focus on the game, but you make sure you start talking about Belichick and his offense and his defense and everything and what y'all going to do and everything. I said, now it's going to be a lot of pressure on your ass because they're going to be looking, all eyes going to be on you whether or not you can perform. Freeman goes out there and goes off. 7 carries for 70 yards, and then they pulled him out.
Well, so when you and I were trying to figure out how, you're like, you got him on the phone for me, but then you're like, when should it drop? And we decided, well, the perfect time to drop it's like 2 hours before media night starts, So like, sure enough, bam, NFL.com, Devontae Freeman wants to get paid. And everyone's like, all the reporters are reading it on their way into the media night. And it's a total thing. So I just remember, at the time your wife was his agent and I had a big Super Bowl party that year in Houston that I think was Wednesday night, might have been Tuesday night, but it was after all this stuff had happened. And at the party, she showed up, and then so did Thomas Dimitroff, the general manager of the Falcons, who was not happy with the timing of that story. And they both kind of got up, and I brought them both into the VIP, and they were both kind of standing there awkwardly with me. And I was like, all right, I'm going to leave you two to have this combo. And I got drunk with Josh Norman or something. I don't know. But it was, they didn't know that we, you and I like to mess around, but it was just
classic. That was classic.
It was, the dog collar though. That was one of our all-time.
Yeah, that was the top one. Let me ask you. So you've had some run-ins with some quarterbacks in your days where you were their friends and you wasn't their friends. I mean, give us a story about. I want you to. I don't want to say which one, but give us a story about one of the quarterbacks that you had major problems with, and they were not you having a problem with them, but them having a problem with you, based on something you wrote.
All right, I'm going to tell you what might have been the biggest disappointment of my journalistic career, and you're going to understand why in a second. So I mentioned that I did that sports, hip hop, rock and roll story in 1999 for SI, and it was all about the intersection between the two. Luke was very much in it. I talked to Ice Cube, Bob Weir, the Grateful Dead. I mean, it was amazing. And I worked on it for a long time. And one of the things that happened while I was reporting that was somehow Ziggy Marley had some sports tie-in, and I knew that his brother obviously, had played at it was around. I don't remember the exact time.
Go ahead, Marley.
He and Lauryn Hill were together, and he played for the Hurricanes, and so somehow I was going to get with Ziggy for this story, and it was in the spring, and I had it all set up with his people, and either he or they said, "Listen, why don't you fly to Kingston? We'll pick you up at the airport, and we will take you to the Marley family estate for 2 days." Now, okay, that is, come on. I mean, that's I can die happy after that. So I got my passport. I'm all getting ready to go. SI calls. They're like, hey, you can't go. We need you to fly to Texas. We need you to do a big cover story on Troy Aikman off of minicamp. And I'm like, what? They're like, no, it has to be. We need it on the cover. He just had this superficial skin cancer scare. There's a new coach now, Chan Gailey. We need to have Troy, and I'm devastated. So I go to Texas, and Troy and I had a weird relationship because I was very tight with Barry Switzer, who just left as the head coach, and he and Barry had gotten crossed up. And listen, Troy's an incredible player. I have so much respect for him. He and I are cool. We've definitely had our moments, including in recent years, but like, come on, man, that's one of the great players I've ever covered. And he's a great broadcaster, and he's, I respect the hell out of him. But here we go. I'm interviewing Troy. It went pretty well. We didn't go out or anything. I just talked with him in the facility. And then the next morning before I left, Switzer was still in town, and that was kind of my boy, and we used to party. So I went to breakfast with Switzer, and we're talking. And at one point, I told him I talked to Troy, and I said, it was kind of cool. He said on the record, listen, when I look back at the stuff with Barry, I probably was too hard on him. I need to, own some of it, and blah, blah, blah. And I told Barry the quote, and Barry said, good for Troy. He should take accountability, and I think Barry didn't mean it harsh, but in print it read kind of like, yeah, good for Troy. He should take accountability. So from then on, everything went terrible. A, it didn't make the cover. It got kicked off for some bullshit, which is the worst feeling. B, when I called back Ziggy Marley's people, they were like, yeah, he can see you in 2 weeks, but he wants to do it in Miami. So I did actually see him in Miami, but I missed my once in a lifetime chance to go hang out at the Marley family estate in Kingston. And then C, I went up to Troy the next time I was at Cowboys, and I'll never forget, he was like face to his locker, getting dressed or something, half dressed, but just looking into his locker. And I came up thinking we were cool, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and he literally gave me the cold shoulder. He turned around and he said, great article until the end where you just couldn't help yourself, could you? You had to put in that Barry Switzer thing. So didn't make the cover, missed out on the Marley estate, and Troy Aikman was pissed at me. All in all, it was a big loss. So the last thing I'll say is when I did go to meet Ziggy at this little house, it was, you probably know where it is. It was probably south of, Coral Gables. Like, I don't know my geography great, but somewhere down there. And I knock on the door. Now, I'm prepared. I am expecting to see someone who looks very much like Bob Marley. What I was not expecting was to see someone who looks exactly like Bob Marley.
Right.
Oh, Bob Marley just opened the door. Now I'm in his house. So it was cool. We had a great time. But the whole time I was just like, I think I'm talking to a exact replica of Bob Marley.
Wow. Yeah. Streeter can understand the cold shoulder because he's had a couple of run-ins with Mario Cristobal.
Oh,
and he's been getting the cold shoulder ever since.
Well, Mario Cristobal's big, man. Streeter looks like he can handle himself okay, but like Mario's throwing a lot of weight around, and I'm not going to stereotype, but he might have that meathead offensive line kind of vibe about him. So yeah, I could see that turning chippy. But I'm looking at Streeter. I don't know how tall you are, but looking at your like self-confidence and your cool beard and your shades and your like just general like kind of unstressed vibe, I'm guessing Streeter is not someone that I or anyone I know would want to get crossed up with either.
Is that fair? On that note, I think Streeter's frozen.
Streeter's looking at me too. Like Streeter's doing what all people who are tough do. They don't say shit. They just chill out and look cool. And that's idiots like me who talk too much. We're not fighters.
Yeah, Streeter's suffering some technical difficulties.
I drove him out.
Yeah, he'll be back. Hey, man, you've had a hell of a career. When I mean, Yahoo. Now you're at the Athletic right now. When you look at and you've seen the league transition. When you look at it right now, and you've seen. I mean, you San Francisco guy, so you were right there with the Colin Kaepernick
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Ground zero. How do you compare the Colin Kaepernick situation to the Dion Prime Shador situation? And you were there when Prime was in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure you covered him. I mean, when you look at those two comparisons, you look at his son gets snubbed, him being the person that he is, and we all know the commentator, the water on the commentator. And then you look at the draft right now and see people who doesn't even compare to, don't even have the numbers nowhere near his son. And you look at the NFL, trying to make this transition from the Kaepernick thing to, okay, we're trying to clean up this, and then now you go into the Shador thing. I mean, and you talk to all these insiders, what is the actual direction of the league? Are they just falling into these bad situations, or is it more of
let me backtrack a little. So Shador, it's a interesting nuanced situation, and I think in some ways it reminds me of Tebow, unfortunately, although he's obviously a better NFL quarterback than Tebow ever was, though the opposing view is, well, Tim Tebow won a playoff game. He did. But Dion is probably the best athlete I've ever seen in my life, and I covered him and know him well, and there's no one I could respect more. I mean, people say Bo Jackson, but I'll take Dion. I'll take Dion playing shutdown corner in an NFL game, getting on a helicopter and getting out, and playing for the Braves in the World Series same day. I've just never seen anything like it. But Kaepernick to me was interesting, right? And we've had this arc of athletes who didn't want to say anything for all in the 90s, and after the Bill Russells and the Kareems and Jim Browns who were activists, and then you got to Kaepernick, and that was, in fairness to Kaepernick, a long bad stretch of incidents where people of color died in situations with law enforcement that seemed unfathomably horrible. And obviously that continued. And now that we have more stuff on video, a lot of what real life has been, I would imagine, in Black communities and impoverished communities. And look, I grew up around cops a lot. My parents, who are labor lawyers, union side labor lawyers, but represented a lot of police associations. And I'm definitely not one of those every cop is doing terrible things. But I think if we're being honest as Americans, me getting pulled over for anything ever is a much less stressful situation or terrifying situation than it is for you. And that's just not fair, right? And I'm not saying every cop is messed up. There's a lot of good ones who are trying to do it right. But if my Black friends are legitimately scared in any situation with law enforcement, and I believe rightfully so because of some of the horrible things that have happened, that's fucked up. And we need to be honest about how to try to address it. And I have some thoughts, like pay cops more and make it a more stringent profession with training standards. And I know it's a really hard job, but then some people probably can't do it. I've seen, people who clearly can't handle it because terrible things have happened. So, Kaepernick, that was what started that. And he had the conviction to essentially sacrifice his career. And then you had Trump, who capitalized on it for political purposes and sounded like, said the things that a lot of unenlightened people, I'm sure, were all saying. And the league kind of rallied around that, because you don't tell players that they're sons of bitches. And you also, it's hard to have racism in locker rooms when everyone's all together. And just like I said about integrated schools growing up, like, what's bullshit, and it doesn't really play. But, then you had George Floyd, which was during the shutdown. And I really thought we made some incredible progress as a NFL community that was really touching to me. In other words, in the wake of George Floyd, which was, right in front of everyone's face, we were all doing these Zooms. And I know I was at NFL Network with my company, but all the companies, including NFL teams, were having these Zooms. And, I think white players, for the first time, they might have been friends with their black teammates, and they might have heard them say kind of like, yeah, we went through some shit, or we've had some stuff. But like, now they were really like, oh my God, like, tell us what. And then they would go, yeah, like, this happened to me, or this happened to my brother, or this happened to my friend. And they were like very sincerely kind of like, oh my God, like, this is heavy shit. And how do we all confront this together as teammates? And I know guys like Jared Goff, who I talked to, were just kind of like, man, I grew up in a neighborhood where this wasn't happening, but this is blowing my mind, and I want to do more, and I want to give back to the community. Like, it was this really revelatory moment. And that was 6 years ago. And now, I shudder to think about what would happen. If there was another George Floyd thing, and, you could argue that Renee Good or Alex Preti was similar, except they're white, right? Which should trigger other people too. But like, if another George Floyd thing happened on camera now, would it still be like that in NFL locker rooms? Or are people so now all in on this, openly, I mean, you know what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
Openly saying things that any reasonable person from my time on earth would say are bigoted and racist. And people, media companies, law firms, universities, preemptively basically giving payoffs back to the people fueling this institutionally, as if that's going to somehow save them from, all of this. I mean, it doesn't seem to me like we are in an environment where any of that would play out the same way. And so, it's weird.
It was always a rule to not, even going back to the Olympics, to not mix politics with sports. And I think it all moved into it, just like I say with the George Floyd situation, and in the handling of it. Let me ask you one of my more lighter question is what's the NFL narrative now? Is it drafting? Is it drafting for hype? Are they drafting players? Because it kind of looks like there are certain teams that understand how to draft. And then you have teams that have not won a playoff game in 25 years. You have teams that have not won in God knows how long. But then you have Andy Reid over there. It's always somewhere by the money. You know what I'm saying? You have Eagles. I love their head coach. I love Howie and all these guys over there.
Ravens do it right. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like these teams do it right, but then there are other teams who just don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, I think the first thing is having a certainty about who you are, right? Like, a lot of people will say, well, we draft best player available, not for need. but then they'll freak out and draft for need sometimes, or they'll say we care more about the college tape than we do the measurables, but they'll contradict that. We don't believe in taking big chances with trades, but then they will. Like, if you know who you are and kind of what you stand for and you have stability, I think that kind of steadies you in these on the clock moments where you have to kind of decide these things on the fly. And then the other thing that, there's this groupthink, and now it's really in my industry, there's this whole cottage industry of draft prognosticators and, predicting who's going to get selected, rating players, breaking it all down. And you get this consensus like, well, these are the best 5 receivers. And, and I think if you are an evaluator and you have a team of talent evaluators and coaches, and you go through your evaluations and you see it differently, have conviction in that, because, I think the teams that don't do groupthink and take swings, sometimes it doesn't work out, but you got to have the balls to do that. Like Denny Green was like that, and Bill Walsh. Bill Walsh was like, I'm going to trade up and take this Mississippi Valley State wide receiver who ran slow at the combine because I think he's going to change the game. And it was Jerry Rice, So Denny Green was like, yeah, I know. Everyone thinks that this guy shouldn't really be a first rounder, but I'm taking him. Or Randy Moss has too much baggage. No, not for me. And so I always admire the people who just are willing to see it the way they see it. And look, if the people turn out to suck, you're going to take that heat. But the name of the game is to win. And so go with your conviction. And I do think in recent years, it's been more what's their actual production versus the measurables. But, dude, it all gets overthought. My favorite is loves football. Because that's been kind of flipped on its head with what's happened at college, right? Used to be like, ooh, he transferred. What's wrong with him? Is he not committed? Now it's like, yeah, he went to 3 schools. He got paid. Does he really love football? I don't know, but I love watching him run. So like, I've always had this like rant, like Maurice Jones-Drew, who I worked with at NFL Network. He and I do this thing where we're half joking, but I'm always like, man, everyone says they want good character guys and guys who love the game. At Cal, I want dudes who are just on the edge of civilized society, who could make it in civilized society. They can just barely make it because they're so on that edge and they play like that. But, I don't need the choir. And Maurice always goes, I tell coaches, you want dark-hearted men. And, we're playing around and stuff. But there is something to the fact of, like, the guys who are crazy, little crazy, and your alma mater, or your team, Miami. Some of my
we definitely had a lot of them. I mean,
is Ray Lewis, is Ed Reed,
Ray Lewis,
are those guys?
Ed Reed, Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp, Jeremy Shockey, like my favorite Dan Morgan. He's a GM now. Like my favorite dudes are pretty crazy, but there was this really funny story. So Cal started to come up when Jeff Tedford took the job in 2002. We had that great run with Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch and Deshaun Jackson and, all that crew. And right when we were starting to get pretty good, there was this news report that some junior college wide receiver had fired a gun at the roof of like a club in San Francisco and got arrested. No one got hurt, but shot a gun off in a club, not at anyone in San Francisco. And my buddy, who I went to college with, called me up and he said, hey, you see that report about our JUCO wide receiver? And I go, yeah. And he goes, man, we're really coming up as a program.
On that note, we're gonna stop it right here. Hey, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on, my brother, and on the show, man. I gotta definitely have you. I definitely gotta have you more, man, because we got so many stories. I mean, you got you.
We didn't even get into all our arsenal. But listen, more important, thank you for, you always have tried to make a difference, but thank you for putting it all on the line, for running. I pray you get a chance to serve your constituents and be a great representative for them, but B, help our democracy and our country get right. And I know you stand for all the most important things, and I know you have a lot of experience in your community and with underserved communities and all communities, really, including the NCAA community. But I'm excited that you're jumping in, and I've been in your office on 12th Street in South Beach, but if I go to your office over in the Capitol, then that's going to be another pinch me moment.
I know that'll be something else. Hey, man, appreciate you coming on, man. Y'all check out Mike Silver. My greatest sports reporter
Street
of all
art.
Times. He's in the athletic.
I didn't scare Streeter away by talking about how tough he is.
No, man. I got kicked out. I wanted to ask you about Jerry Rice, man, but we'll get you. I got you next time.
All right, you're the man.
All right.
Okay, appreciate you, Mike. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Speaking of politics, this young fella that I'm getting ready to bring on right here, Streeter, is he's the architect of the Teddy Bridgewater bill. He's our senator. Anytime we have any issues, we got to call on. We put the bat light up and call on Chevy, help us out. Here's the situation. And Chevy just goes in there, put his boxing gloves on like he was in there today. And I know this was a big one for him today. And we got to bring him on, talk about this redistricting. And he was fighting today for us. This guy here, ladies and gentlemen, he fights for us. This is our state senator, my man Chevron Jones. How you feeling, my brother? I know you're in the car driving.
What's up,
man? You had a time today for the last couple of days.
It's been a time, It's been a time. And I'm now driving to the Brightline station so I can get back home to the district.
Right. I mean, I looked at your posts, and I'm always on your social media because I keep up. And I urge everybody to, make sure you go follow Chevron Jones on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, because he's definitely going to keep you abreast of what's going on. And I saw something that was very, very disturbing, that you said that the governor sent the map to Fox News before he sent it to you all. Yeah,
Uncle. So but Uncle, you know what? Before we even get to Fox News, because that's part of the problem, right? The bigger problem is that the governor's map drawer is the only person who drew the map. One person drew the map for 24 million people. One person. Now, mind you, in the past, the redistricting, and you've been through redistricting before. I'm not elected, but you've been through the process, so you've seen the forums, you've seen the many conversations that happens when we're talking about redistricting. None of that happened because the maps were done 2 weeks ago, and the maps were finished on Monday. Were sent to the legislature they were sent to Fox News first. The legislature received them at 11:15 on Monday morning, and we voted on these maps on Tuesday. So yes, Fox News did receive the maps first before the legislature did. But I think what people should be concerned about is that the people got no input on the maps. And the second thing is that one person drew maps for 24 million people. outside of the process and how it has happened in years past. And here it is. This is the first time that Florida has ever did, it's just like Texas and other states who've done it, any type of mid-decade redistricting. But Florida is different because the Floridians in 2010, they voted for the Fair Districts Amendment. And in the Fair Districts Amendment, the state of Florida said that no political party can draw lines based off of political partisanship, and that in tier 2, that all districts must make sure that they are representative of all groups. So that means that Black folk also have representation in their vote. None of that exists anymore because the governor interpreted the Fair Districts Amendment on his own, assuming the case that came today, the Louisiana versus Calais, and
Correct.
saying that Section 2 was going to be struck down. Here's what I need people to understand. Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act was not struck down the way that people think it was. What it did say is that if you are going to eliminate these, if you are going to draw these districts, you're going to need to prove that there's some type of discrimination that did exist in the drawing of the maps in which you are changing. But it did not give a mandate to the state of Florida to redraw maps.
Wow. Because when people look at, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because when people look at this situation in Florida, and then they look at what the Supreme Court just ruled on in the Louisiana case, one would think that, oh, you just struck that down based on, you consider that based on race. We lost
him.
Senator.
But Luke, for the slow people that was absent that day in school, what maps are y'all talking about? And explain to people what you and him talking about. He back there. He back there in the back. He back.
Yeah. So going back to what you were saying, most people would think that, oh, the Supreme Court just struck down the case in Louisiana, and you could probably use that case to apply to the situation that happened here in Florida, because in Louisiana, obviously, they said race had to play a play on that, and they would not allow that to happen. Now you have this clearly is racist. You think that that's a pathway of a win in the Supreme Court, or it's just Trump's Supreme Court and they're gonna do what they want to do? Is he froze?
I think we lost him again. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be back though. It feels like he's just going through drive.
To answer your question, Streeter, to explain to everybody what's going on.
Explain to him.
The state of to explain to what happened is in the state of Florida today. Senator Jones just got off the floor of the Senate arguing the fact that what Ron DeSantis did was disenfranchise the voters. We voted, like he said in 2010, on the fact that, hey, look, there's a process in which you have to redistrict, and part of that process, if I understand it, he'll tell a large part of the process has to be done 2 years after a census is done. So Ron DeSantis decided that he wanted to do it now, and what made it worse was nobody in the legislature had anything to do with the redistricting. It's like him and his homeboy went in the back room and just drew a line through the map and sent it to Fox News, and then sent it to the Florida legislature, because he knows he controls the Senate and the House of Representatives in the state of Florida, and he knows he controls the Supreme Court, because that's the court in which he picked. So if it goes to them, then that's going to get passed, and he's doing everything for his guy Donald Trump, and everything was a total violation. But what happened for Ron DeSantis, because he's playing politics and is disenfranchising voters and people, knowing that these Republicans are going to vote his way regardless of whether it's right or wrong, which it's a shame. They should be ashamed. Every Republican that voted for this should be ashamed of themselves, because, again, this is not democracy. You know what I'm saying? The founders did not put these rules in place. The people voted in 2010. The people voted for a process in which we are to govern by. This man just say, fuck that whole process. He literally just say, forget about all that. I'm the governor. I control the House. I control the Senate. I'm going to redistrict. I'm going to go in a back room with one of my homeboys and draw this map, and take away Democratic seats, merge other Democratic seats into one to do what? To do what? To then take people's and throw Belgrade and Pahokee and South Bay people who are already struggling and put them in Trump country. I mean, they literally put them people in with a Trump representative. These are black people struggling already. You think that Trump representative is going to help those people over there? You really think that? I mean, so, and the same thing for the people in Riviera Beach.
How you combat it? We say we're a free country. We say we're a democracy. Like, how do you combat it? Like, we talk as if it's a dictatorship. To be honest with you,
no, it's a major. It's not you think it's a dictatorship. It is a major dictatorship. But how do you combat it? Is again, we have to change our ways. I mean, when I spoke about Andrew Gillum and 50,000 votes. And this man lost by 50,000 votes, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now, because it would have been a totally different government. It wouldn't have changed the House and the Senate because Republicans control it, but it still has to get signed off by the governor. That governor wouldn't have went into a back room, and he would have been a violation of Florida Constitution. This man violated the Florida Constitution today. Him and everybody that's in that Senate who voted for this, all of them should be ashamed of themselves. You know what I'm saying? But he did that because he know, okay, if I do this right now, then hell, it's we're gonna put it on the docket. We ain't gonna hear this before the midterm, because it's all about the midterms and cutting Democratic seats. It's about the midterms cutting Democratic seats so that Donald Trump don't get impeached. But how do you stop it, Streeter?
Yeah, how you combat it?
You gotta look, man. I know I'm in the race, but you gotta elect people like myself. Who's gonna stand up? You gotta elect people like you heard Angie, you and Mike Silver. Y'all heard us screaming on the Senate floor today where Chevron was at, and you gotta elect people like Chevron. These are people who are gonna fight. You gotta elect fighters. We have a lot of people who ain't got no fight in them, and they just lay down.
Is it a color thing, or is it a just elect good people thing? Is it a black and white thing, or is it it's elect good people who are going to fight for the cause, and not after the fact. Because right now, I mean, even if it's more so with Republicans. I mean, if you're a Republican and you're sitting in a Republican district, and most of the people, you always vote for a Republican person, you know what I'm saying? And your Republican person just voted against the Florida Constitution, something that you just voted on in 2010. Right.
You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be looking for, and look, hell, if you want a Republican, okay, that's fine. But you should be also looking at this situation and saying, I need a better Republican to go up there and represent me, because I don't want to be voting for somebody who's in violation of the Constitution, because in this next election, you could very well have a Democratic governor. You can have a Democratic governor to rain hell on Republicans in their districts and take away all the things that a governor can take away that Ron DeSantis took away from the black community. You can easily have that. And now you'll be crying wolf. Oh my God, why is he doing this to me? But again, Street, it starts with the people. It starts with Democrats. It starts with Republicans. I mean, vote in good people. These people are bad people. When you're in violation of the law in the Constitution, you are a bad person, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. I'm sorry. I call it for what it is. I mean, a person like myself, that's why I'm running. I'm running Streeter because I'm tired of sitting on these social media, doing posts on my live, talking about the disparity and the gridlock and the muck and the garbage and the lack of resources. That's why I'm running, because that's how you solve the problem. Some of us got to get off the bench and get in the game, unfortunately, and a lot of us are not doing this. We got some very intelligent people. Joy Reid need to be running for office. Joy Reid this lady is arguably one of the smartest women I know. Joy Reid need to be running in her area. Jamel Hill need to be running in her area. Dan Roland Martin need to be running in the area. Bakari Sellers need to be running in his area. These are people who are very intellectual, who are going to be very outspoken, and that can bring resources or understand the political process. I mean, but we all sitting on the sideline. They sitting on the sideline. I'm in the game. And that's why I say I'm in a win-win situation, Streeter. I'm going here to fight for these people. I mean, hell, you had a situation going on in the Supreme Court today where they were hearing arguments about taking temporary protective status away from Haitians. They're going, if this Supreme Court says it's okay for Donald Trump to snatch up Haitians that are here on temporary status, he pointed out Haitians. He didn't point out Cubans. He didn't point out anybody else. He pointed out Haitians, Venezuelans, and Somalians. The Somalians in Minnesota that he had a problem with, he pointed them out. Yeah, I got a problem with them. Anybody this man got a problem with, he want them out. And so again, a lot of people ain't paying attention. That's the main problem. Streeter, people ain't paying attention, because even in this very, very election that we're in right now, I'm running, a large part of my constituents are Haitian in this district right here. And I have to be very convincing to them and tell them, like, look, man, you either gonna vote for this little boy or you gonna vote for a politician. And these people are not going to be able to have a conversation with Marco Rubio, a conversation that I can have with him to hopefully keep your family here intact. And if you don't do that, then I'm going to be sitting over on a beach looking over here, looking at the news, and they're going to be rounding everybody up. And it's going to be those people's fault.
Right.
And the resource that's going to be, it's going to get bad. So again, man, it's like either you get off the bench and you get in the game, or you stay on social media tweeting, or you going to the rallies. I'm not going to no damn rally. I'm not going to no rallies, Streeter. My rally is going to the poll. And I urge everybody, man, look, man, whether you vote for me or anybody else, I mean, these numbers need to fucking change, man. It's 8% African Americans going to vote. 8%. And then we want to sit here and we want to say all the bad things that's happening to us today. That's how you change things. You can change the Florida legislature by going to vote. You can change the way they do business in Washington by going to vote. I mean, it had no business. This clown, it had no business in the White House anyway. But everybody want to make all kind of excuses why not to vote for the black woman. So it becomes black and white. I mean, I'm very passionate about this. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit up here and oh, we're going to go to the No Kings Parade. I'm not going no fucking No Kings Parade because y'all let it happen. Especially white people. Because black people voted at 92%. Y'all didn't want a black woman leader. So you take your ass out there to the No Kings Parade. I'm not going. You know, and that's the thing. People had a decision, but they decided that for whatever reason, oh, she ain't black enough. Oh, she don't do candy yams. Oh, she don't have her hair ain't straightened enough. Oh, because she's half Jamaican and all these different things. Come on, man. Come on, man. And you know, the white women ain't voting for her. You have half of the Democratic Party white women voting for Trump. And most of them who didn't want to vote for Trump didn't vote at all. And so everybody feel good that I didn't vote for Trump, but I didn't vote for her. But well, we told you a no vote for her is a vote for Trump. And that's what happened. So that's why we're here today, right now, because of us. You ask that question, how do you stop it? Get your ass out there and vote and go take somebody with you. And if you don't do that, then don't sit up here crying. I went when she lost. Oh shit! I got my affairs in order. I set my ass up and say, "Hey, look, man, this shit finna be a roller coaster. You better keep your head on a swivel at all times, because that is what we allowed to happen. They did. So I'm sitting there chilling. And so again, we're in the same situation. We got a midterm getting ready to happen. You're gonna have Democrats running those same races with Republicans. You got he gerrymandered the map, and you're gonna have Democrats running against Republicans. And if those Democrats, when those Democrats win the primary, and some of those Republicans, if those Republicans want change in America, then they're gonna vote for Democrats when they get into the general. And if they don't vote for Democrats when they get into the general, and their ass get deported from goddamn Doral and Havana and Little Haiti and North Miami, you go fuck around and find out. Play them crackhead games and vote Republican if you want to. Because a lot of people who are getting ready to be deported, they do vote Republican, and they need to stop that shit. You know, they do vote Republican because they see, oh, ain't one of us in the race, so I'm going to go vote for. They cake for this man. I remember damn Scott going down there, Little Haiti, having a conversation with the Haitian people, and I almost threw up. I was like, do they know what the fuck they doing? This man is the architect of trying to deport them. His homeboy. Is Scott out there right now defending Haitian people against Donald Trump and TPS? No, he nowhere to be found because he's trying to protect his own ass. He just used the community to get the vote. And everybody's sitting there now, everybody's sitting there nervous as hell. You know,
you can't not want them to get deported more than they not want to get deported, Luke.
You're right. But what a lot of people have to get away from, Streeter, what a lot of these different people have to get away from is hating black people. Because everybody come here, they got a fucking problem with black people. They don't want to work with black people, but yet still, black people have always been the ones say, oh, we want to help black and brown people. Only people that really loke up with us. To be honest with you, the only people that really loke up, they'll loke up with us politically, but the only people that really loke up with us is Jamaicans and Bahamians. Jamaicans, Bahamians, and Trinidadians. Everybody else, you got to go convince them to go fuck with black people because they got some kind of, I don't know, whatever issue with black people. And then at the end of the day, it's black people who are standing out there defending them. It's us. You know, even with the fucking Mexicans and the lady lost the race in Texas because Mexicans. So when you look fast forward to right now, and God don't make no mistakes. He does all the things that he does, and they say, man, we work in mysterious ways. He work in mysterious ways. Lady lose election in damn Texas. Fast forward to right now, you got a little Mexican girl, the police department on there talking about, oh, I just love saying the N-word, and I just feel so liberated, and she's the police officer. And those are signs. Those are things that God is telling you, this is how people really think. And if y'all don't wake the fuck up and you keep being asleep, then that's what it's going to be. You're going to be asleep if you don't get together, African-American people. If you don't get together and worry about look, I got all the white friends in the world. Mike Silver, my good friend. I love him to death. God damn it, if Mike need a place to stay, he's right here with me. I got tons of white friends. Everybody wants to say, oh, Luke is always black and white. No, I got a shitload of white friends. And that's why that they don't have, we have disagreements. But at the end of the day, we all agree on one thing. All people should be treated fucking equal. Now, when it comes to some white supremacists, no, we ain't going to be on eye to eye. Even when it comes to a black person that thinking that all white people are bad, we're not finna see eye to eye because that ain't the case. But at the end of the day, everybody got to respect everybody that you're defending and you're protecting your kids' future and your race future. I ain't got no problem with that. I'm okay with that. But we need to be feeling the same way, and we don't do that. We don't do that. We're the ones who tear down each other. I was talking to a damn coach, And I was like, well, why are you not the coach? Because the football player was under you, he was a All-American. But he the first one to throw the black out. I'm like, see, this the kind of shit we talking about.
Right.
Every black football player at the University of Miami, first person they should be talking to is you, because I guarantee it ain't that many black people in the room, but we're systemically fucked up in the brains. We're really screwed up. Hey, I'm looking at the NFL draft, Streeter, and everybody's sitting up there, and I'm not looking at the draft. I'm looking at the draft to see all the white guys, white people in the room. Mendoza, all white people there. But when I go to look at the black people, all black people, and there's one little white guy. And we know the one white guy is the guy who's the fucking agent. Because the black people don't trust
all the money.
controlling all the damn money. He controlling all the money.
Yeah.
And that's just us. I sat there and all I did was counted that shit. And it was 95% African Americans who got drafted. There was a little white guy in the fucking picture. And that's us. And so you ask me, how do we change? And there's some real competent African American agents out there. There's some very, very competent ones. But then when we see us come in the room, then we looking at us like sideways, and mama looking at us sideways. And that no matter what our record is, we looking at, well, what a white person with you? Are you backed by some white person? That's us. That is us. That's the problem with us as a people. And so when those people see that, then they see a divided community. They see a community that they can go in and they can overthrow a streeter.
They can infiltrate. Yeah.
They can infiltrate a streeter.
Well, Luke,
they can infiltrate a Luke.
I got a tough question for you though.
Ain't none of these questions.
If everything's owned by them, right? Like, so the NFL owners are white, everybody in the machine is white, right? You get a white agent, you figure the white agent can talk to the white people, right? How did you and your wife navigate in that space, and were you guys successful?
How did we navigate? Let me tell you how we navigated in that space, and I didn't want to be.
When you got to the table,
I didn't want to be. Listen, man, I fought for years not to want to be a part of representing some people, representing kids. I've had many kids that tell me, hey, man, when I make it to the league, I want you to represent me. And some of them went into the league and then I didn't represent them. And I'm like, no, I'm getting into that. I'm getting into that because that shit is bad. It's bad for more reasons than one. So now I'm coaching at the park. I got Little Freeman, I got Darrell, I got CJ, I got all these kids, they're doing good. I don't know if they go into the league. We don't know if they go into no damn league. You know what I'm saying? The likelihood of you going to the league is damn near similar to you catching the lottery. It's only 1,200 jobs in the NFL, and every year 20 and 30 and 50,000 kids are fighting for that same spot, and you got to be the chosen, whatever the 100 and whatever it is, 200 to go to the combine. If you ain't chosen to go to the combine, the likelihood of you making a roster is very slim to none after that point. So again, these kids, I'm looking at all these other kids coming back to the park and all these tragedy stories that that we know that, oh man, this one right here, he was this and he had this, how many money, and now he working on the park and now he lost all his money, and now this guy, you hear these tragic stories about these agents around here that broke these guys, that allowed them to get broke, and then you get into it and you say, well, how the hell did they get broke like that? Then you understand the nuance of it. Well, the agent, he hires the financial planner, and he get a kickback. He hires the daggone person who does the house, and he gets a kickback off that. He got the little shoe man running around. He got a valet running around, and the whole thing is designed to make this young man spend his money because the agent is getting a kickback from all areas of this kid spending his money, whether it comes in or not. And then it goes to the financial planning. You hear these stories about these guys being taken advantage of. They buying casinos in the ocean and shit. And the craziest part about it, Streeter, they they don't do the research, and they still do the research, and knowing that this agent has broke a shitload of guys, and they've heard the stories, and the guys have told us, these motherfuckers still go back and deal with these people. They still go back. They still really believe that the agent,
because the agent still has black guys around him, and it's hard to believe
they believe they forgot that it's them and their athletic ability. They really think that these agents are the ones who are going to get them drafted, who are going to get them in the league, and that is so far from the truth. Them damn teams don't give a rat's ass about an agent. The scout goes in, do his due diligence throughout your career, and they look at you and they say, okay, you're the shit. And then they send it up to the GM, and the GM look at it, the president look at it, then the president takes it to the owner, and they say, we like this guy here. They don't like you because you represented by Jimmy Sexton or Drew Rosenhaus, but they lead these players to believe that is the case.
Yeah, no, because Luke, listen, it's hard to understand. Like athlete A may have went broke with this agent, but still agent has athlete C and D, and they are successful. And you're like, well, how the hell is they, or how are they successful with this agent, right? You still one fail, but then he still got guys around him. So you blindly walk into it. I know for a fact, Cassandra told me about Duke Johnson. When he was picking an agent, they hired your wife, which was a lawyer, to watch the agents. He had he had the two agents, two guys in the suit. I think they were UFC guys. They represented Conor McGregor or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like big time agents had represent Conor McGregor. And basically he hired your wife, a lawyer, to look over what the agents was doing. Make a long story short, your wife became the lawyer because the agents didn't do shit. Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's exactly, and so again, you ask, right, and you ask how do we do it so different? And like I say, I only got into it, and that lady was a will and trust lawyer. She wasn't no agent. She had no aspiration to be in that. I then said, look, I got these kids on the park. You know, if they ever get close to possibly making it, I had a agency. I didn't activate it because they all kept telling me, hey man, we want you to represent us. You negotiate big deals and and all. I'm like, I don't really want to be in that space, right? And so she was being frustrated with her doing the wills and trusts. And I said, well, hey, look here. Go take the license and I'll go talk to the players. We got some kids on the park that I really don't want them to come back with the same problem. I don't want them to come back being broke. I want to be able to help guide them in a direction. Now, if they come with us, then that's fine. You know, I don't want nothing. I don't want a dime. You know what I'm saying? She probably took 1%. These are our kids. You know what I'm saying? You got to get paid for what you. I don't pay a bill in my house with nothing that you. These are my kids. You know what I'm saying? And so that is how I went into it. The whole thing. And so Friedman was like the first one. Friedman, like, no, man, man, you've been with me all my life. I listen, the other ones don't. And whatever we do, how we do it, man, that's fine. Friedman ended up riding around with a coach who didn't care about him or nothing like that. The coach taking him all over the place. And he said, no, you got to take me to Coach Luke. And Coach Luke, okay, all right. Hey, I went into it and I said, look, you're not an experienced agent. I'm not experienced in this. Go about it by being the lawyer of these players, which I think every player right now should have a lawyer looking over the agent contract, because these agents are caping as if they're the lawyer. You're being misrepresented, right? So we went into it as she the lawyer, and that was her way of getting experience and learning what these sales pitches is. And she's sitting up in there looking at the contract and saying, man, these people is pitching some BS. So one of our first people who she went in and didn't get paid a dime, and went in to help out in that situation was my good friend, T.Y. Hilton daddy.
Yeah.
So she was up in there with him, with all the agents talking to him and all this. And then it was like, okay, well, she'll be co-agent. And that's what it was, co-agent on the contract. Now, the agent can't do nothing without her authorizing it. And so eventually, whatever happened, T.Y. them didn't want her to be co-agent.
Man, tell the story.
Yeah, they
tell the story. I'm sick of this.
House, got to the family, got to the daddy, got to everybody, and they told them, if we don't do co-agent, we ain't finna have nobody overlooking what we doing. So if you don't sign up with us, then we ain't if we got to have a co-agent, we don't want to deal with you. And so eventually T.Y. ended up telling her, hey, look, no, we ain't gonna be able to do this, and you can't be the co-agent. Now, this lady was broke up, and I never told this story. You telling me to tell us this lady was on the floor. This lady was on the ex-wife. This lady was literally on the floor crying because she had spent so much time and she had got so heavily involved. When the dad told her, Mr. T.Y. said, look, man, hey, look, I respect that. If that's what his decision is, okay, fine. No, we ain't going to be using you in this capacity. The lady was floored, and I told her, look, this needs to be a motivational moment. What you do is you look at this and you say to yourself that you learned because you heard everybody's pitch. You heard everybody pitch and what they have to offer and what they don't have to offer, and going through this process, the next process, I'll be there with you, but this is all God's will. He's setting you up to do greater things. And so what ended up happening is now you got fast forward, Friedman them come. And so you got Friedman and Duke, and we're going to represent them to look at the contracts. These guys realize that, oh man, they ain't doing what they said they was going to do on the contract. I remember sitting in the room with Duke. We're sitting at the round table. We up in there interviewing agents, and I would say, Duke, don't laugh. They said, oh, we're going to get you $1 million in marketing dollars. And don't laugh. Watch what I say. She over there looking at the contract, carving the contract up, taking all the things out to get a kid stuck in there. And then I say, well, okay, if he's going to make $1 million in marketing, can you give him $500,000 now? And everybody go to. So we had a system going on when they did do that, but then eventually the guys ended up signing well. She made Duke was not a starter.
Hold on. Slow down. So basically the agents was offering Duke something, and because this is not your first rodeo. You've had Luke records. You've seen negotiations, you've seen contracts, you've seen things like that, right? So you can hear these people, right? You can hear these people, right?
Yep.
And what were you hearing? Like, what were you hearing coming from them?
I was hearing a bunch of
seeing guys in suits.
I was hearing a bunch of BS.
Okay.
I was hearing the same story. I was hearing that every agent came in and said the same story, what they could do. Okay, this and that and all that. And I already understood, and I knew that their contract, she knew because she was the paperwork lady.
Right.
She knew that the contract was BS. And so she over there marking out everything out, because when you look at what happened to Deshaun Watson, right, and his situation, and a lot of other players, were getting stuck with agents because they had signed contracts, and there's 3 contracts. Okay, the NFL contract is 1 contract, that's the standard contract, but then they were getting players on the marketing contract. They were actually taking their marketing dollars, spending it on them in that 3rd contract, which is the training contract. And the training contract is the killer of all killers, because they were putting people in houses. They were giving the guy money, flying mama here, flying mama there, and all this illegal stuff while the kid was in college. But then it's almost like the mini bar. What they were doing was, when it's time for the kid to then leave, or he wake up that this is not a good deal, because when you realize that you're not in a good deal is when you're in the locker room and all the other guys in the locker room say, oh, you over there with such and such? Yeah, he ain't gonna do shit for you. But then they realize that, oh, I want to leave. and they can't leave. So
leave.
I knew all this. They can't leave because they're now stuck in this contract because the agent has charged them for everything, the flights they came in on, the money that they gave them, all this, like the Deshaun Watson, if you go look it up, and you now got a $500,000 bill with this agent, and then now you talk about, oh, I want to leave. You can't leave. And so the agents construct those contracts like that, and then they get you on the financial planning side of it, because most of these kids and their parents don't understand financial planning because they never went to the financial literacy class. So the agent says, oh, sign with my friend here. He has all the other players on here. And then they go sign up with those guys. Then they give them a power of attorney. And that damn investment firm is now making investments of your money when they want to make it. And so at the end of the day, your career is over where you go back to the investment man and say, well, how much money I got in the bank? You ain't got shit in the bank because he made all these bad investments. So what she would do would go, the financial planner, look at his contract, negotiate that, she negotiated everything, took everything out, and these guys weren't able to step it. Everyone, both of them, Friedman and Duke Johnson, had agents, but they were able to leave. They were able to leave with no consequences, unlike Deshaun Jackson, not Watson, but Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson.
They couldn't leave like these other guys. So they were able to leave because she struck out all these the training. No, he ain't paying for no training. Y'all in this together. Oh, he ain't getting ready to do this. So they were able to leave free and clear.
Because she overlooked the contracts and she saw all the pitfalls before they signed the contract. Now, go back. You said something interesting earlier. You said the agents, your wife was a lawyer. The agents are an agent. Think about the this TV show that was on HBO about the agent.
Ex-wife.
Right? Your ex-wife. Your ex-wife.
I'm single.
Your ex-wife was an agent.
I'm looking good.
Lawyer, right? You said the players are being misrepresented because an agent is an agent. He's not a lawyer, right? He's not a lawyer. He's taking the paperwork. He's taking his paperwork too, right? You know what I'm saying? He has to get somebody, you know what I'm saying? To understand the paperwork and the contracts and stuff. You know what I'm saying? But your wife is a lawyer. She can supersede her. She understands the paperwork, but she's not an agent. You said it would be misrepresented. Explain that.
So here's the deal. Most guys get excited when the agent comes with his Armani suit on and he pull up with it in his Ferrari to your door and you think you made it. It's a whole big production. Oh my God, such an agent just pulled up to my house and they want my baby. Oh, he represent this one. And they get all excited. They turn into fans and shit. And they think Jesus Christ just came off the wall and walking into their doors. But in all actuality, they don't realize that their kid made their pathway to the NFL and the NBA and Major League Baseball on their own. It's not that guy.
Yeah,
it's not that guy. And so the issue, the answer to that is, like you say, this lady looked at. We had a system. She looked at the contract. Just take Friedman and Duke. Friedman, this lady reset the market with Friedman. The market had not been reset for 3 years. It was only person was Shady McCoy had the highest. He was the highest paid running back, and it had not been reset for 2 or 3 years. Me having a conversation with Friedman on how to navigate catching balls and running and your yards per carry. Hey, look at, man, you gotta don't be running down on that goal line, man, because that's 1 yard they're gonna take away from your yard carry. And we navigated that. We worked the system. We worked it from a marketing standpoint, and we worked it from a game standpoint. We really worked the system like it ain't never been worked before because these agents ain't doing that. You feel me? And so at the end of the day, he ends up being the second leading receiver on the Atlanta Falcons behind Julio Jones, and the leading rusher, the third leading rusher in the NFL. So now when it was time for him, like Mike told you, and we set that whole shit up, I went with Mike around the Super Bowl time. When it was time for him to renegotiate, it became you can pay him like a receiver because Kyle Shanahan had already said Freeman is arguably top 5 best slot receiver. He can play slot receiver and be top 5 best slot receiver in the NFL right now today. He was the 3rd leading slot receiver in reception, second on the team, and then at the same time he had over 1,000 yards in rushing. So I say, tell him he could pay him like a receiver. You still reset the market, or you can play him like a running back, still reset the market. Or you merge the two, he still resets the market. And so that's how you reset the market. And she was able to negotiate. Now, mind you, you thinking that this lady just reset the market and she on her way. She done did some shit that ain't none of these motherfucking white boys could ever think about doing.
That day. I remember all of that.
And then go back after that and then make Duke Johnson, who wasn't starting, he was behind the guy, the 5th highest paid. You would think this lady is getting ready to be on her way. On her way. Everybody gonna be beating down the doors to come and work with her. No, they were not.
Why not?
Because it's systemic. It's in our brains that it's just like a black restaurant. We'll go to a black restaurant and then complain about the fork and all that. Oh, it's got a spot on there, but we'll go to fucking Waffle House and look behind the thing and see the eggs on the floor and see all the shit on the floor, bacon on the floor. You don't even know what they're picking it up and put it. We ain't gonna complain about their establishment, but we'll complain about our establishment. And again, some other little things went on, but at the end of the day, I remember going in there talking to some players.
No expectation.
Look, there are players who they just knew was going to be signed up over here because when the NFL does the investigation of a player, they investigate everything. They know who talked to you with the college. They talk to the college. Hey man, you recruited this guy. Who did you talk to recruit this guy? Oh, I talked to Luke to recruit this guy, and I talked to this person to recruit. Oh, so Luke involved in. Okay, all right. So everybody, there were quite a few players that they thought were going to sign up with us, but they signed up with these other people. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I didn't like the business because hey, look, man, we here, man. This is a boutique operation. If you want to come, I'm not making no money off of this. I wasn't making no money off of this. It's me just doing another community service, no different than me running for office, getting ready to lose a ton of money to go represent a district that's hurting. You know what I'm saying? So I always get myself into these situations. Hey, look, she's, rightfully so, this is her business, me supporting my ex-wife, and I want her to be happy and got a thriving business and everything like that. You ain't paying no bills with that money in my house, no bills, period, because I don't let my wife or anybody paying no bills for me. I'm the man of the house, but then that's a whole other story. But at the end of the day, Streeter, they wouldn't be none. I went to some people that I even told, hey, look, you need to go to this college right here because you're going to be all right over here. You need to go to this college over here. I supported some families just out of the kindness of my heart. Mm-hmm. They called me in the middle of the night and say, man, we don't, I got the boys here and we ain't got no food up here. Can you send a little something? Groceries and all this shit here.
How many times? Maybe three, 4 times? How many times have you done this? Maybe 3, 4 times? How many times?
Shit, hundreds of times. They didn't even think about being represented by her and me. Even with the success, they didn't even think about it. It was like, oh, well, and so that's why I never really wanted to.
Use that with them shooting in the gym. They didn't even think about you. They didn't even think about
it. And that's what we do to us. That's what. So it didn't bother me. I'm supporting the ex and her business and everything like that. But it taught. And then they going with these unscrupulous people. And then a lot of them losing tons of money. A lot of them could have balanced what they were doing and still been successful here and successful there. I can sit here and write a book on this shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But again,
we ain't gotta write books no more. We gotta
write no book.
Talk about that shit. We ain't gotta write no book. You gotta buy it.
I'm not doing Streeter. I'm not doing it because, again, like I say, and I said this the other day, with this particular show right here, this show, what we do over here, we're doing on this here, I'm not here to tear down other black men for what, you know. I leave that to Shannon Sharp. I leave that to all these other shows where they just sitting there tearing down another black man, putting them on the couch and making them look stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing that. I won't do that, and I won't play a part in that. You know, that's why they call me. Hey, Luke, you want to come do our show? What are we talking about? We talking about the uplifting of our people. Because if you want me to sit up here and talk bad about members of the 2 Live crew and what they were doing, no, I'm not going to do that. Right. You want me to talk about some situations with some other black people? No, until you start putting white people on the goddamn couch and asking them these questions and giving them money when you know that they're in desperate need of money, and you're paying them money to sit on there and tell you, go get Brett Favre and put his ass on the couch. And this go for Shannon Sharp and this damn Cam Newton. Go get them people. Go balance the shit out. Put some of them on the couch and hear their tragic stories, other than just continuously putting our people on the couch and listen to tragic stories and them talking about other black people, tearing them down. And so that's why I wouldn't do that. I can sit up here and tell some tragic stories, and you be like, damn him, and damn him, and all. I ain't doing that.
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you this, since you want to be so humble, before you check out this mug, right? You ain't gotta bash nobody, but you're not checking out this mug humble and taking it to the. But you can tell your truth though. You can tell your truth though.
One thing about this life,
you can talk about your truth though. Hey, you gotta bash nobody.
Let me tell you right this, Streeter. One thing is guaranteed for all of us.
What's up?
One thing that's guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, we all gonna leave here.
Yeah,
that's guaranteed.
Fact.
Now, whether you go at 39, 29, and 99, it's all a guarantee. So what you do while you're here as a person and the life that you live as an individual defines who you are when they do decide that, hey, look here, when it's all is said and done and the man call you upstairs and say, hey, look here, Luke, you done did all the things you can do down there. Let's come on up here, hang out with me. Hey, let's ride, boss. That's how I live my life. I live my life with, hey, I appreciate every moment of the time, but then I live my life with certain principles and certain things that I'm going to do, and I'm not. I let them tell the story. There's a lot of people out there that could tell some stories of the mistakes that they made. That's their stories. Let them tell those stories. Luke, I tell the stories of these unscrupulous motherfuckers in this music business.
Luke, respectfully, Luke, fuck
what that. Respectfully? Ain't nothing good coming after that.
Fuck that. Because here's the problem. We see these kids as kids, right? We know their parents. You know, you raise them. Like you say, over 100 times you've helped these families out. But we never talk to them about business from a business standpoint. When it's game time, somebody else who looks different than us walks in and talks to them about business, right? You standing there saying, hey, I don't want enough for my kid, and you hand them off to a motherfucker who don't care about them. Every time.
But we don't,
Luke, we have to be.
It's not us handing them off
with these kids in 2026.
Streeter, it's not us handing them off. It's them. Devontae Freeman. That's why I love him to death. Him and Duke Johnson. I love him to death. They came out of our program, Liberty City Optimist. Sam Johnson, God bless his soul, say, man, make sure you take care of Duke. Let me tell you how Duke ended up with us.
Mm-hmm.
It was Artie Burns. It was Artie Burns' mama, Dana. Dana, I coached Artie at Miami Northwestern, right? Artie was known for track. I just came over to Northwestern. I was at Central, and Billy Rowe gave me the job of defense coordinator, and I looked at Freeman run through the defensive backs and run through everybody getting out of the way and all that. So I was like, well, y'all track guys, I'm gonna make y'all physical. So I went on a crusade and did that. I talked to Artie dad. He was locked up, and Artie dad said, put your foot in his you know what. right? And with the mama on the phone, with the mama standing right there. So I took him up like as if one of my kids. And so again, so I'm over there at Northwestern, and I got Artie Burns, and we got Amari Cooper there, and some other kids that I'm real happy about. And me and Dana set out a plan for Artie because Artie was the third fastest in the world in the 800. So I didn't cut a deal with Artie, not Artie, but with Nike and all that. Artie was going to go to the World Championship. He was not going to go to the Combine. He was going to go run in the World Championship. And we had already talked to certain teams that he was going to run for his country and all that. And then he'll come do the pro days and all that. And then Nike was going to give him this astronomical deal. I had already set that up because, mind you, I'm good friends with Worldwide West and Phil Knight. They put me together. So, all right, we got this whole lifestyle deal with Artie. Artie mom loses her job. She working at the place where they do distinguishers. She loses her job. Now, okay, oh Lord, what we get ready to do? So I then ended up, Dana, which nobody knows to this day right now, ended up working for me. Right? She was like, I was like, Dana, Dana ended up working for me. Right? So she was working for me. Not even Artie. Artie don't even know this. So because I'm me and Dana down. Dana me and Dana down. I used to wear a UM hat when I first got to Northwestern and the alumni and all them. That's how me and Larry Williams ended up getting to be friends because Dana went in, it would tell me, oh, you got to take that UM shit off. I did this Northwestern, put that on. I said, well, I don't have a Northwestern hat. That's all I have. And then Dana went and cussed everybody out. And I said, I like her, right? He could wear what the fuck he wanted, all that, right? So she was on the board, and me and her became friends. Dana ended up passing, right? Dana she had a good friend, her best friend who used to be with her all the time, told Artie that they wanted Artie to not go with Luke, but go with another agency. I don't know whether it was Melvin. Me and Melvin, good friends right now, said no because they had a relationship with him and everything. And so Artie ended up signing up with another agency. Now, mind you, I got all this stuff planned out for Artie over here. But then Duke, before Dana died, Dana told Duke mama, "Oh no, we going with Luke and his ex-wife."
It was really close at the time.
They were best buddies, and then Cassandra came to me like, so we live in city words, and you telling me you ain't finna come to me and represent? I said, well, Cassandra, all I saw you whining and dining with Drew Rosehouse. We're not really doing this to me. She was like, no, Dana, where Dana go, we go, right? And so then Cassandra was all like, okay, well, we riding with y'all. So you had Dana and then Cassandra and all this. And now, mind you, again, I'm not doing this for no money. I got the ex-wife, and she leaving the wills and trust lawyer thing. Now she gonna get in this sport because we gotta take care of our kids. All these of our kids. It wasn't about, okay, we could be super agency. It was about really not having them put in a predicament where they come back home broke, and when their career's over, they broke. You feel me? And so at the end of the day, Dana then passes away. God bless her soul. I love her to death right now. Still to this day, Dana passes, and then the friend says, "No, your mama wants you to go over here." He don't know no deal. It's a tragic time that's going on. I remember going to the funeral. I'm seeing all these agents running around. They ain't really there for the funeral. They there for to try and get this boy now that the mama, because Dana was the muscle. Dana ain't play. When Dana say something, she say something. And so at the end of the day, man, it was it was Duke mom and Friedman. I remember when Friedman was when it was time to get his contract renegotiated. The head coach, he's the head coach, the president, the general manager, and you need to get a new agent. And because they won't know how to renegotiate your contract, knowing that they were trying to take him away from us because we was going to ask for the most money. Freeman never budged. Duke never budged. They never budged. They was like, no, we're right here. They only went with these people at the end of their career because I don't know what happened. Maybe it was a split up or whatever it may be, but they were loyal when people.
Their largest contracts came with your wife.
The largest contracts came with the ex-wife.
You're your ex-wife. So Luke, your wife wasn't a football person. Very, very intelligent woman. I remember I had a meeting with her in her office over 2 hours. She stood for something too. She hated how these agents were treating the kids, and she talked to me about it. How was she able to navigate through these football waters, and she wasn't a football person per se?
Well, we had a little system. She would do the paperwork, and I would deal with the training, and deal with them with the man stuff. Hey, watch these girls, watch this. Hey, we're going let me take you to, Duke one that you didn't have to worry about him. He gonna go home and he chilling. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Freeman, he got a lot of things around him and a lot of people that can guide him in the wrong direction. And so but he would listen to everything I say, and I would take him like, this is what you don't want. Let's go on a little trip to Club Live and watch how football players throw their money away. Let's go to the strip club and watch how football players throw their money away, all their life savings. And then I'm going to take you there and show you how you should be treated, where you shouldn't be spending a dime. Hey, Luke, hey, you in here, man, Freeman, right, NFL. Oh, whatever y'all want. You don't need to be drinking, because I always taught them about stories that I know from iconic players. Hey, do you know what Primetime told me when I took him when we were all at Take One, or not the Take One, but the other one right next to the Rolex, the other club? Prime said, man, I don't drink, man, because I can't put nothing in my system. It's almost like putting water in a gas tank. And I always tell my kids, hey, it's about what you put in your system, because your system has to. So I would tell them that. Don't put that shit in your system, boss, because I learned that from Prime. I learned from Edrin James to tell them, hey, look here, man, while they sleep, you work. So you might go out to the club, hang out, don't put that shit in your system, but then go get you a lift in before you go to sleep, and get one in. You got to get one in, because you compete with them, because they compete with you every day. And so they learned those things. And that's they took those things in. One took it in more than the other. But at the end of the day, they had great careers. And the financial part of it, Freeman got screwed one day because this lady, she made sure she put in there that because he wanted to be over there where all the other players had the financial advisor. He didn't work them to go over there, but then what she ended up doing was she put a clause in there, which he opposed, that you don't have power of attorney. You can't make an investment without calling us, him or us, to make that investment. This man went and made $1 million investment one day. He gets on the phone and called me, oh, man, $1 million is out of my account. Really? Okay. I get on the phone, like we had a real system. I get on the phone, hey, look at $1 million out of his account. Okay, let me find out right here. Oh, yeah. The man took $1 million out of his account. So he had all these other NFL players that he had power of attorney, and he invested in a bad investment that lost. And what ended up happening? I said, no, boss, you got to put that money back. No, I have power of attorney over all my players. And then she didn't say, not with him. So eventually called up we'll call the SEC on your ass. You dealing with, we'll go.
They won't hear that. They won't talk about that.
They won't hear that. So what ended up happening, send a letter to the head man of the firm. I think it was, I forget what it was. Sent a letter to the head man of the firm. Hey, look, your man made an investment without authorization. You got to put that money in the account, or you'll be hearing from the SEC. Which way we're going to do it? They end up putting the money back into his account. And so Freeman and Duke, they did the right thing with their money. They, look at, man, they understood not to spin out, understood not to be spending all in the clubs and throwing it all up, understood marketing. One understood it a little more than the other one, but they understood marketing, understood how to keep your face clean, your social media, and all these different things. And shit, hell, that damn Freeman low-key owned half of damn Miami. Because he all I was like, what God don't make no more?
Land.
And I say, okay, we're gonna get you with a good friend of mine, who's gonna help you with the financial planning. And this man they start putting him in deals where these major corporations were putting up businesses on land that wanted to do the business with African Americans. And at the end of the day, this dude got people paying him rent, paying him mortgages on land that they own with major shopping plazas and shit. And so again, it all worked out.
But Luke, listen, I hear you always say, I ain't want nothing from these kids. These my kids. I just wanted to make sure they were straight. I just want to take care of them. These my kids, right? I remember watching Mo and Shamar Stewart, right? Shamar Stewart parents are here. You know what I'm saying? They're alive. But for some reason, I don't know the nuance. Mo took Shamar Stewart in his house and end up being like that, whatever you want to call it, guardian. Shamar calls him dad, whatever, street agent. But once Shamar became successful,
street agent,
whatever you want to call it, when Shamar became successful, I listened. I heard a lot of the community started saying, "Oh, he just want to make money off Shamar. Oh, he don't do it for every kid. Oh, And Luke, I hear you saying the same thing. Hey, listen, you're quick to say, "Hey, I ain't want nothing from these kids," because for some reason in the community we shy away from that because I think we don't want other people to look at it like you're taking from the kids. In 2026, my question to people is this: who has the kid best interest? The person that arrives once he's a 5-star or third rounder, projected first rounder in college, or the dude that been there since he was running to the ice cream truck? Who has the best interest? The guy that's been there helping pay the mama light bill, the guy that's been there picking the kids up from school, picking the kids up, taking the kids to practice, or the agent that shows up in college? Because for some reason as a community, we feel that Luke, who we know for a fact understands business, right? Once that kid becomes in high school and goes to college and money gets involved, we feel that Luke can't make money off that child, or Mo can't make money off that child. And to me, in 2026 is bullshit, is dumb thinking, because the best interest of that child was with Mo. Obviously, if you could see it now, right? Mo was there when Shamar went to the hospital in college. Mo was there when Shamar had at the damn playoffs and hurt himself at the goddamn running out and never played in that game. His best interest was with Mo, the guy who cared. Yeah, why do we feel it's okay that Luke hands off Freeman to a person that doesn't know anything about him? And we're like, that guy can make money off of him, but Luke can't. That guy can make money off of him, but Mo can't. We have to stop looking at this shit like it is business, and it can be business all the way around. We are walking away from people who care, right? And walking into fucking lion dens, dog.
A large part of it is right? Because at the end of the day, let's face it, you don't know, nobody can predict that a player is going to go to the NFL and be successful and be the highest paid player in the league. I mean, if you looked at Freeman numbers and use him as an example, he was the smallest of the group. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the tallest. But his thing was he worked harder than anybody else. I've got guys that played for me that didn't go with us that ran 4.3 in the combine.
Yeah.
And was tall and this and all these different things. And he always prided himself on saying, "Coach, I listen." That's the difference between me and them. When you look at the question is two things, right? Like you say, Mo or anybody else don't know whether this kid is going to make it, right?
Right.
Now, there might be a situation where, and we know Streeter, So we can't ignore this too. We could see this motherfucker 13 years old and he's 6'2". And shit, he out there running. He done went to, come on now, Streeter. I'm going somewhere now with this. Follow me. He's 6'2". That motherfucker out there, he went in rival camp and tore that shit up. Right now, I'm all over you. Right? Okay. Then it becomes, hey man, shit, you barely 5'10" and you walk with a limp. You walk like this. We don't know. Hey man, pick you up at the house, man, take you home and drop you to the beans, and you come stay over the house with all the other boys, and y'all come and y'all chill and y'all hang out. It's a different story. It's one, if the mindset is, oh, this dude big as hell. Oh, he got handles at 11. I'm gonna hang on to this shorty here. And I don't know the situation. There are two different scenarios.
I don't care.
To answer your question,
I don't care if you can see.
Hold on. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Talk to me.
There is. Should that guy not be able to reap benefits from that? Yeah, he should, because he's making an investment also. Because he's picking the kid up every day. He's taking him over there. That's why it'd be all funny to me when I used to be in this and we go to draft day and some daddy come in, you ain't never seen him before, or not even draft day, or when it's time to sign, all of a sudden he got a daddy. Where the fuck was he at? Because I know I paid all the insurance. I know I paid all the money to go for him to play. The $125 every year at the park because he couldn't pay it. And I had to go pay the doctor to get him a physical all the time. But ain't no daddy was around, but the daddy is here when it's time for him to sign up and make a decision on what high school to go. And then hey, have a tendency of, I'm going to talk to my dad. And it's like, nigga, give me my money back. You want to know where all this money. So again, it is not just, again, I don't remember those days, but you got to know, you have to know, it's a different with me, Streeter. It's different with me. I don't do it for anything in return. I mean, I never did it. Now, if we're in a business, they're not obligated. Then I mean, Artie wasn't obligated. Listen, man. I dropped him off. Listen, I mean, I'm there. CJ, Charles Gaines Jr., I dropped him off many times, picked him up and dropped him to Carroll City, and he had a different agent. And none of them was obligated to be with us. And I didn't look at it. I just didn't look at it like that. We know you didn't look at it that way. I didn't look at it like that.
This is what I'm saying. And everybody isn't capable. Right? Everybody isn't capable of helping these kids at the next level or representing these kids at the next level. We know you did it out from your heart. And I'm not even saying recoup money. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if Luther Campbell or Mo or Malachi Mom are capable of navigating those business waters, right? Once we get out of high school and we start talking to these coaches about NIL and if you are capable, in our community, we have to stop fucking thinking that Luke gets left in high school. Mo gets left in high school. And now it's time to hand it off to this Jewish guy. Or now it's time to hand it off to this guy because now it's time for him to do business. No, Luther Campbell had been doing business 20 years before all you motherfuckers. You are capable. Right?
Yeah.
No, and we gotta stop looking at it like, hey, no. It's time to let him go to. No, bro.
But that's a smart person. See, a smart person would be like, it would go, whether it was Mo, whether it was Luke, whether it was Larry, whether it was Curly. And if them individuals have been with you, and that's why I love the Friedman story so much. We've been together forever, right? And when it's time to make a decision, it was like, he was riding around with Coach D, and Coach D was taking him around to see agents. And he got to the point was like, hold on, where the hell is Coach Luke? And he said, take this truck. And then Coach D had a agent that was renting the truck to take him around. So he was already locked in to whoever the hell they was paying for the damn rental truck. and so he was like, hell no. Something dawned on him and say, no, take me to go see Coach Luke. And that is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
At some point, take me to go see the guy who been with me forever. The guy, and let me ask him his opinion of this situation. Like the kid tried to give me gifts on numerous occasions. Like, Coach, oh man, Coach, I just got to do something for you, man. I'm making all this money, Coach. Man, no, Freeman, you can't do nothing for me. That you keep your motherfucking money. Ain't nothing you can do for me. I'm a grown ass man. Ain't nothing you can give me that I ain't already had. So right. So again, is it right? Listen, is it wrong is it wrong? No, it's not wrong, because what happened with LeBron James and his crew, LeBron made it. And he brought all those guys up with him.
His guys, the guys he trusted, he brought with him.
He brought with him. There's nothing wrong with that. And they wasn't in it to be like, oh, we want to hang on to LeBron coattail. No, what LeBron did was so unique. That's why I love his brother so much.
Right.
He did, and that's why they hate him so much, because he doesn't go to the traditional white agent. And that's where a lot of the bullshit come in. That's what happened with Shador. Shador was represented by Deion Sanders. He was not represented by Jimmy Sexton and one of them white agents that the quarterbacks traditionally go to. He was breaking the norm for more reasons than one, and they showed him better than that they could tell him. And so my point to that all is, again, these kids, it's nothing wrong with it. LeBron said, no, we're gonna do this shit ourselves. Now this a dude ain't never went one day in college.
And
he said, no, you gonna be this, Mav, you gonna do this. You're going to do this. Now he has one of the biggest agencies, one of the biggest production companies in the business on low key. And he's representing so many other players and so many other teams. This man is arguably the most powerful guy most powerful guy with his guys in the league.
And I heard
he brought his guys up. And a lot of these guys, Streeter, they tend to forget that, because just like you say, and I say it's systemic, they bring it, they think a part of making it is to, oh, y'all niggas over here right now. Oh, Coach Luke can't tell me nothing. Meanwhile, Coach Luke can negotiate more $1 million contracts you can ever imagine. Oh, I'm over here, I made it over here. And they go and they lead the flock, and they go deal with these people who don't give a shit about them, who just looking at them as a number.
Because the only way they can make their money is have numbers.
That's
the only way they can make their money.
It's no different it's no different than that picture that I saw with all the white coaches, like 26 white coaches and no black coach in there the other day that was on social media. And that picture was so powerful. They all was standing there like this here on the picture. And I looked down to I did a caption like this because they know what I was going to say. Well, where the black guy is? They think they have us profiled. And it's so, let me tell you something. You know the wildest part about it? And if anybody could go into one of these meetings when they just sit back there, be a fly on the wall, and hear how they talk to the mamas and all, they come in there with their Armani suit on. Hey, mommy. They go to calling the boy mama, mommy, and she in the kitchen cooking. It's like Jesus came off the wall. The white man came off the wall. Because first of all, they go in the house looking and see if you got a black Jesus, our white Jesus. They profile every individual in that room. So you sitting up in there, they got the park coach, they got the high school coach, they got the girlfriend sitting over there pregnant, they got mama in the kitchen, and mama trying to be hospitable. They come in the house and they do their presentation. They done seen that shit 1,000 times. They know their profile. Well, who is the person in here? And they'll just start listening to you talk. Who is the person in here that got his ear? And if it's the park coach that got his ear, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pay the park coach off. If it's the girlfriend, I'm gonna make sure the girlfriend have all kind of shit. I'm gonna pay her off. And if it's the daddy or mama in there, and I'm gonna be an influence with the daddy, and mama is standing on, no, I don't know about you. They go to paying everybody off by profiling, and then they go to cutting other people off, like family members who know business, and they be like, what the hell y'all doing? Y'all gonna deal with this shit here? And the family members say, man, I'm gonna worry about my own goddamn business. And then they go on about their business. And so you see people gradually leaving the circle. So the individual already have a circle, and those people they start cutting them off, and then it becomes them. And they think, and those players and the parents think, whatever that man tell them is the truth. And going back to what you asked me before, the agent is the lawyer, and they're signing shit without any representation, which is the most bizarre shit I've ever heard of in my life.
What do you
and
mean?
So that's why I came up with the thing. Hey, look,
mean?
you get in the business by overlooking their contract. They have nobody overlook. They're signing a contract that these people are pushing in their face, which is fucking ludicrous. It's like going to the car lot, not negotiating. It's like buying a house, and there's one side, the lender has the contract. Before you know, you just sign some shit where you miss one payment, they're gonna take the house over without having your own attorney. It's the most craziest thing in the world, and they allow that to happen. They don't even tell them. Like even us in the music business, we have a clause in our contract say you gotta go get some representation. We have a clause in our contract. If you got a problem with the accounting, you have a right to do an audit. These things are embedded, not in the NFL, and those people know it. They just be so happy. Oh, I saw the agent on TV. They shouldn't even let these motherfuckers on the NFL draft TV. All they be doing is advertising themselves. So when they see the agent who's in there with the first round pick and he mosey up in there, then it's all. We had a player. The player wanted to sign with us. The brother wanted to sign with us.
Mm-hmm.
The mama did not want to sign with us, right? The kid was crying, oh, I want to be over here with them. The mama did not want to sign. She wanted to be with the white people. And literally said, white people are going to look out for you better than these black people. And then the boy went all the way to the draft, to the draft. The boy, the young man went all the way to the draft, and he found out at the draft that they signed the DN, and he was a DN, and they got the white DN more money than he got. I forget the kid's name. They got the same agent, they had the same agent, and they had negotiated more money on all of his marketing than the black guy. They got the black guy basic shit, and he was going off. This kid did not have a good draft. He was like, "Mom, that's why I told you I didn't want to be messing with these people. I didn't want to be messing with these people." And it was bananas.
Name.
I forget the kid's name. It was some horror stories.
Yeah.
I mean,
no. I know kids on draft night went first round. And when they got in the room by themselves, they wasn't happy because they felt like they were a slave to their agent because what they have owed the agent on draft night.
And here's the key to that. You want to hear the
key?
They
felt like they were working for their agent, which in fact you hire your agent, but because what he had taken, he felt like he was working for the agent because he was in a hole.
But
first round, draft night.
You want to hear something?
Talk to me.
You want to hear something? You want to hear a good one?
Talk to me.
You ready for that? You ready?
Let's go.
So the rules is, the NFL rule is this. In the NFL contract, he's not your agent until he negotiates a contract for you.
I've heard
so
that.
If you fire him before he negotiates the contract, whatever he gave you leading up to that, you don't owe him. He has to write that shit off as a business expense, as a loss. And that is how Friedman got out of his contract.
Explain.
The agent was talking all this cash money shit, and before that agent negotiated the contract, Friedman fired him. They're not your agent. And see, this the fine print they don't tell you. They don't tell you this, and because you don't have representation to have a lawyer overlook the NFL contract. The NFL contract is a standard agent contract. where you
Right.
can't get no more than 3%. And it tells you all these things. They're not reading the contract. He's not obligated to nothing he gave you until he negotiates and you sign that contract. You fire that motherfucker right now and don't have to pay nothing. That's the part there. See, again, that's why a person like myself, they fear me in the agent business. They fear me. They wouldn't say nothing. Not one of them agents would not say nothing to me. No Drew Rosenhaus, no Jimmy Sexton, no none of them, because they know I have a platform and I will put their ass out there. So they're like, Luke, whatever you want to do. I've had many of them call me up and say, hey, Luke, you want to be you can work with us. No, I don't like that. I don't like chasing 21-year-old running down and all this here, because they make you want to take advantage of them. I don't like feeling like that. I'm a boutique guy. If you need my help, even to my players right now and people in the business, I get phone calls, whether it's Pitbull or JT Money. I had a call. Matter of fact, I got to do something for him tomorrow. They call me up and they ask me my opinion on certain things. If they do that, then that's fine. But again, Streeter, the business would have been crazy. Probably, I don't know. She still has a business, and I don't know how good it is. And I urge people to go and let her represent. She can represent. She has the experience. But at the end of the day, that's not. I still have right now Luke Sports, and it's online, it's a website and all that, and I can't deal with it, because the mentality that's so embedded into these athletes' brains, I can't deal with it. I'm too old for that shit. I'm too old to try to explain to people how I can help you better than they can help you, and how they're trying to take advantage of you, and how I'm not. Like me and you, we started talking to people, and okay, man, you do a great job of marketing these guys. It's a perfect storm. Streeter market these guys. He no talent. If you can see Mendoza as a kid, if you can see Jeremiah Smith and follow these guys, you know fucking talent. That's like what we call in the music business an A&R person. The guy who discovered Michael Jackson and knew he was the shit, he discovered Michael Jackson. He knew he was the shit when he was 6 years old. And we all have the eye for talent, whether it's entertainment or whatever it may be. And again, there's room for us to be involved. And at the end of the day, when you really understand the NFL draft, all those guys, the 122nd pick this year is going to get 10% more than the 122nd pick last year.
Right.
So it's nothing to negotiate. Only time you doing a renegotiation is when you renegotiate the contract. And a lot of these damn people, because of how they got the league rigged up, by the time it's time for you to get to your second contract, boss, you're cut, because the life expectancy of an NFL football player is 3 years. So the goal is, how do I get to that next contract? That damn Devontae Freeman got the 3 contracts.
Right. I mean, I remember when NIL first got popping. I sat down and I had an interview with
Where's
Mo.
the people in the chat? The chat, y'all done went to sleep?
And the chat got quiet. I think they listening, bro. We pumping right now. I went and sat down with Mo, and I had an interview with Mo and Shamar. And I knew that the fans would come down on Mo, like, oh, he's a street agent, he a handler, why is he there, why yada yada. But I called Mo, and I did that on purpose, because Luke, what I saw was that we were walking into an era where the high school kid was going to have to talk to these colleges about money. It's no longer was waiting for them to be a senior. Like, the high school kid was going to have to talk to their NIL people about money. And if they didn't have anybody in the room with them, like, you wanted Shamar Stewart to talk to goddamn Manny Diaz or his NIL people about money. I knew that these kids needed representation, right? And I knew that a lot of these guys that were around them had their best interests at heart. So I did it on purpose for people to stop saying everybody was a damn street agent. Shamar Stewart called Mo dad, not street agent. He called him dad.
That's the Streeter. That's the thing. They gave them all a name. They tag us with a negative name when we're doing business versus them.
Luke,
You see what I'm saying?
here's
We
the
get
crazy part.
tagged. We
Here's the
get
crazy part.
tagged street agent.
Even the white and the Jewish people are street agents because none of them have a goddamn license. Only a few of them, have actually taken the test. So if you think the black guy that's walking with the kid isn't qualified, a lot of these other people aren't either because only a few of them have taken the test.
Streeter, you cooking with grease? And listen. That's why I look at a lot of these families, and I don't even get into it. Like I've told you, Streeter, if this young man or this mom or whoever wants some help, I'll be more than happy to help him out. You know, I ain't looking for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I just want I want the best for our kids. You see what I'm saying? And so again, we have a tendency of not, oh, he this and he that and he this and all. Listen, man, I sat there. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I ain't bothered with that. So I sat there with. I'll give you another story. Ray, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you the Ray story, and it goes to this what we're talking about right now. So Ray comes, and I'm talking to all these colleges.
Uh-huh.
I'm the best negotiator in the world. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I'm a hardcore negotiator, right? So I got Ray. We're talking to this school, that school, this school, that school. I got one school, and now I'm leveraging. I got one school gonna give him 1.2, and I got Ray on the phone, and I got another school gonna give him 1 point. I say, man, you gotta give me 1.2, boss. Hey, such and such got 1.2 on the table. You saw what Nick Saban said. He's the next Jaden Waddle. He's already committed to Clemson. And Clemson, oh, we ain't paying no money. Okay, so now, hey, look. And you know you commit to Clemson, it's like you commit to the coach. They do an extensive type of recruiting. They recruit you for 3 years before you can even commit. They won't even take a commitment. So now he's committed to Clemson, right? So then now I'm talking to this school, this big, oh, they got another 1.2. Then I go to this other one, man, we really want this guy bad. And then it went to 1.6. And now, mind you, I'm like, Ray, yeah, 1.6 here, 1.2, okay, here we go, right here. So then now what happens is, okay, hey, man, now you decommit. Okay, if he decommit, if he decommit, he get 200,000. As soon as he commit, he get another 200,000. You get another commit, he get another two. When you walk on the campus, got house, plane, all that. Well, mama need to fly. Mama don't like to fly. Well, we get mama here. We'll get a house and everything and a job and all this.
Okay.
I'm negotiating hard. Freeman, Street, I'm negotiating hard. Allegedly, all this has allegedly happened. This is a non-fiction story, so let me put the disclaimer on there. If y'all try to come with some sexy shit. So what ends up happening?
What's up?
So him and then he going on these visits, and Bean went with him on the visits. I say, Bean, you go with Ray, go on the visits, and Bean there, make sure he's straight and all that. They take care of all this, everything. Next thing you know, so then now I get a phone call. I got one coach around him, and I'm like, he just anti everything Luke, right? And next thing you know, so he calls me the day before and say, Coach, and I'm going to the story. Can you talk to these people over here at Miami? And I go to talk to the people at Miami, and I say, well, what? He said, well, the number is this right here. I said, well, Ray, why are you been entertaining that? You got double the amount at someplace else. But can you talk to them? I said, this the day before you get ready to commit somewhere? And so he was like, yeah. I get on the phone, talk to the guy, and the guy says this, and I said, well, you need to go talk to John Ruby. I said, no, this 800 that you offering him, mind you, he got 1.2, 16,
yeah.
1.6. True story. I said, y'all way off, 800? and you need to at least come up to this. Oh man, no man, all this and all this and all that. I said you need to with him on the phone. Now I did nothing.
Ray was on the phone, and I think the guy was helping Ruiz at the time.
One thing without him.
DeWarso was the guy helping Ruiz at the time. It was DeWarso helping Ruiz at the time, I think.
And I said, hey man, I don't know this dude. He put me on the phone. I said, I don't know this dude. And so what ended up happening?
What's up?
Right? I said, well, you need to go and fucking get some more money. I said, you need me to call John now. Mind you, I just left John Ruiz's house 2 weeks before because he was trying to do a deal with my brother. Mm-hmm. And so I go to this house and all that. We ain't impressed because we really in there making a joke. We're really in there making a joke because John got this big old yacht and in the back, he got this big old house and all that. And we're supposed to be impressed. Mind you, this brother I got is a fucking rocket scientist, got more money than law allowed, more money than John has. He's trying to get John platform, so they don't know this, right? And it's like, yeah, y'all can use my jet and all this and everything. And so I'm looking at my brother like this, and he laughed, and I'm looking like this, he laughed. I say, we could use the jet, right? We in the clowning John Ruiz. I say, we could use the jet, really? Oh, wow, brother, we could use the jet, right? He's up here like this. My brother like, man, we're trying to negotiate. You trying to fucking play with this man right here. It's like how big this house is. It's like, yo, the house is this big and all this and all this and all that. I got another house around the corner and all this. I was like, damn, this is a big old house, right? We acting like regular black people. And it's like, ooh, wait, me, my brother, like look, man, black people. Right? And so we go in at the end of the whole thing. Then, you know, I'm clowning him. And I say, well, we don't need the jet, John, because my brother here got 2 jets. He looked like, I was like, yeah, this dude gave me a jet 10 years ago. This dude got 2 jets. And he was like, yeah, I got 2 jets, right? And one of them I just used for military families because I'm in the military, and I let them, you know, the one a family unalive in the military, we'll fly the family. And that's all I use that for him. Now I got the other one we use. He was like, oh, wow. Right. And then I was like, hey, man, tell John how big your house is, the property you just bought in Jupiter, and how many houses you just put together. The man put together 8 houses in Jupiter plus steel and all this. So I'm sitting up here. He was like, oh, really? So we're not impressed. So right. Going back to Ray, I'm like, you need to go have a conversation with John. If you got to come up with these numbers. So what happened after that, Streeter, to tell this story? You want to know what happened after that?
What's up?
They got on Twitter. And this the key. This is what they do to us. If you're a street agent, you're trying to get something around here. They then start telling these dudes on Twitter Space, oh, Luke was trying to get money for Ray from them. It was a guy. Oh, what the guy name is with the 7-on-7.
DeWarso.
And I said, bring him to me. I said, bring him to me and say that in my face. Bring this MF to me. Never brought him there. I was like, Brett. I called up Brett. I said, Brett, you better get your boy. You better get your boy. He talking this. Hold on, Luke. What? Do what? Hey, bro. Man, Streeter. And the kid ended up, I say, Ray, I'm going to tell you like this. And again, true story. I said, Ray, here's what's going to happen because I always forecast the future because I know how to predict people. I say, Ray, this is what's going to happen, Ray. We got off the phone with the guy. I said, you didn't have me a part of this in the beginning. I guess you cut this deal on your own because all the other ones, it was me and you. But this you the boss. However you want to handle your business, how you handle your business, but this is what's going to happen right here. They're going to get off the phone with me. They're going to call up the head coach. They're going to call up whoever else, the money man. They're going to all gang up on you and say, oh, Luke is being unreasonable. I say, that is the reason why I had you on the phone in every negotiation. So they can't tell you, oh, Luke is being unreasonable because you know the number from the other teams. That was the whole reason I did this because I know how we get perceived. Right. They tell the white guy tell the black player, Oh, he lying to you. That ain't the truth. That ain't the right number. So I eliminated that, Streeter. I had him on the phone. He on the phone. The other team, the team ain't know he on the phone. He's just on the phone. He listening to the entire negotiation, texted me while it's on there. Hey, go ask him for this. Ask him for that. So he understood it. So I know it's going to come a point where I didn't think it was going to happen with these people, that they were going to say, oh, Luke, either getting something, I never went on no trip. That's why I sent Bean out there. Hey, look, I ain't going on no visit. I don't do visit. I already did what I did. Look at, man, y'all take the deal. Let them explain the deal to you and your mama, what you already knew that was already negotiated. So when the dude came with that bullshit and they tried to spread this narrative on the two, I was like, bring him to me. And I told Brett, you better tell him to shut up. I will blow your whole damn shit up. Yeah. And that's what
they were spreading that you were trying to make
either you street agent or you want something to line your pockets. Now here I done negotiated, help negotiate the damn highest paid contract in the NFL, and I ain't asking for that.
They were spreading that you were trying to make money off of Ray.
Exactly.
Listen, stop right there. Why stop right there? Why the fuck is that an insult? I've seen DeWasso in rooms making money off kids he's coached. Why is that an insult when it comes to Luke? And that's the community shit we gotta stop. We never want to think business. We always think bags. When we talk about black people doing business, it's a bag. It's under the table. It's making money off of. When we talk about them doing business, it's just business. It's just business.
Correct. It's just business. When it's them, oh, he wants something. Yeah, I was laying there for them. I said, you better tell the boy to be quiet.
Come on,
you better tell the boy to be quiet. And so that's why I always. And Streeter, that is why. And I say, Ray, you will essentially be firing me if you don't have them to call me back. If you're gonna sign up with them people, they're gonna know two things that happened to you. They were able to separate me and you. I cannot speak for you because you've now either signed up or whoever influenced you to do this deal with them, and I can't speak on your behalf because they're already gonna know, and they're gonna feel some kind of way. They're already gonna know, hey, look, we separated you from the bully, and now you're on your own. That's why I would go on your platform with the villains. I go on the Twitter spaces and all that and everything. I never said anything. I never called Mario about no Ray not playing. I never called nobody. I never talked about it. I left it totally alone because I didn't put him in. Now, if I put him in that situation, you ask Eddie Graham, he'll tell you. I got on an airplane and went to goddamn Florida State and had a conversation when they were mistreating Friedman. And I said, hey, Jimbo, hey, wait, look here, we got to have a conversation, Mouse. And I'm known for doing that. I'm known for doing that. Unless if I'm involved, you ain't gonna lie to my players.
Who's the coach? Jimbo
Fisher.
You had to go talk to him about Freeman?
Yeah, Eddie Grant. Yeah. They'll mistreat them. He goes out there.
Let me explain what you're saying. So anybody who thought, right, any of the shit Luke have said over the last few years about the Canes was about Ray, right? What you're saying is that Ray separated kind of when he went to the Canes, he kind of separated from you. You never said Ray name. Like you never said anything. You never mentioned Ray name. And if you feel like he was talking about Ray, it's because your ass assumed he was talking about Ray.
It's the systemic, it's the shit that we got in our brains.
Right.
It's what we got in our brains. So I sit there and laugh because I'm a people's person and I analyze and I'm an analytical individual. So I sit there and listen to them think and how they talk. And I'm like, these fuckers really think, damn, I lost Facebook. They really think that I never bothered with it. Now, if I'd have been over there and Ray we'd have negotiated, and then next thing you know, Ray signed up over there with them. I said, Ray, if you don't have them call me, you would have essentially fired me as your representative who ain't getting paid and you would have went and signed up with these people on your own.
Right.
And so he eventually went and he did it. And I ain't never bothered with it. I ain't never went over there and talked, because I'm saying whoever told you to go over there with them, then they didn't want to need to be talking on your behalf. And I know I got an idea of who it was, because they always was at practicing, and I would look like this here, like, yeah, you need to go talk to these motherfuckers here, since you signed this boy up to this damn this movie here. You know what I'm saying? Because again, when you take less, and he was like, Coach, which I respect. I'm like, well, why would you take half the money? I mean, I'm like, son, the NFL is not promised to nobody. You know what I'm saying? You're losing $800,000. You leaving it on the table right here to go over here to take 800. You know what I'm saying? I said, nah, you go where you want to go at, but you're a 4.2 GPA. This don't make economically. He said, Coach, I always loved it to school. And I always want, I said, well, you make your own decision. And you say, I love Miami. And I was okay, now, you know, that's $800,000. You can't get that motherfucker back. You know, and I said, but if you don't have them people call me up to
that
run
man
these
wanted to be a
numbers up.
king, man. That man wanted to be a king, goddamn.
Man, hey, he jumped on it. And I can tell you one thing, I love him to death, man. I love him I look, Streeter, do you know how much it was burning me up for them to be mistreating him? It burned me up, but I couldn't say nothing. And they know they had them pulled them. Boy, I've got on the plain street many times and went and had to sit down. Hey man, I'm sitting down in the office, man. What's going on? Let me see this evaluation. Let me see the chart, because let me see if you don't know the plays. Let me see your chart, because they do a report every morning on the player before they hit the field, and then they do a report after. So the average coach, high school coach, don't know that. I learned that when my nephew was playing at Auburn, and I went in and I'm like, what the hell going on? And I realized going up there talking shit, and then them people just showed me that damn chart. So I learned how the chart game worked, and that he didn't really know the plays. I was like, dummy, you don't know the plays, right? So at the end of the day, I know, give me the report. You got a report here. Give me that. Let me see what it is. Okay, he don't know the plays. He know the plays. He hustling. You ain't hustling. You came to meetings late and all this, and your grades and all that. That gets you put on the bench. You feel me? And so I couldn't do that with him. All right, look, but I can tell you what, my young fella, he gonna be all right, because he's a God-loving kid. He's a humble kid. He ain't gonna do no running his mouth. He's gonna, you know, he gonna be all right over there, East Carolina. He called me up when it was time. He was like, you know, I like, Ray, we all make mistakes.
Right.
I said, we all make mistakes, because originally I was like, they weren't recruiting you at Oregon. So why they want you now? They probably want you because you're committed to Clemson, and they don't want nobody leaving out the backyard. Then it was Gaddis who really wanted you, and then Gaddis left, and then now you got somebody. So it was a catchy situation. Shit happens, right? And so it really never got an opportunity. And so again, I couldn't go and speak on it. I wasn't going to go speak on it. So people automatically thought I had a problem because it was one of my kids. No. And so when we were talking this year, I say, look here, boss, here we go. He's like, Coach, tell me out. I got you, boss. I love you. What are we doing? Okay, all right, Coach, I'm starting. He said, Coach, I'm starting. I said, okay. And then he went to the game, the Notre Dame game, and he called me after the game. He said, Coach, they told me right before kickoff that I wasn't starting. I said, oh, really? He said, yeah, they told me right before kickoff I wasn't starting. I said, okay, well, maybe they're going to work you in or whatever. I say, and then the next game he didn't play. I said, okay, well, we got 2 games. I said, look, here's the deal. You got 4 games after the Florida game to find out how they're going to play you. If you're in the system, the rotation, or is the competition, are you going to be able to play in any one of these positions? You can play multiple spots. I said, I always thought it was going to be you and Mally on the field. You know what I'm saying? And so that wasn't a thing. And I said, well, you're going to have to make a decision after the Florida game whether you redshirt, because if you stay catching punts and shit, you're going to lose a year and you would only have 1 year left. The likelihood of a team wanting to take you with 1 year left is going to be slim to none. You feel me? And so you got to make a decision. So, I say, but look at how they played.
Well, we knew before the Notre Dame game he wasn't starting. But
no,
we
he didn't know that.
We had heard that. We had heard. We
did.
knew before the Notre. Huh?
You know that, but he didn't know.
We knew
that.
before the Notre Dame game he wasn't starting.
Not him. Y'all knew it. The media, but he didn't know it. He was told that the day of the game. So now, yeah, we all knew that from a whole lot of other situations that went on leading up to that, which I don't want to get into. But again, the man is entrusting his people. That's what they tell him. So at the end of the day, I mean, that's all under the bridge. He goes to now he gets to, okay, I got to make a decision whether I'm going red shirt or not. And so
right. So slow down so people can understand what they saw this year with Ray. At some point, it seemed as if Ray was just okay on the bench. And that was because if he played, he burns his red shirt, right?
Yeah, if he played 5 games, then you burn your red shirt. So after the Florida game, when he wasn't in the rotation, I said, son, you got to make a decision, because if you go by there, catch 1 punt, you have burned a year. You have 4 games to see how they're going to use you. They didn't even fucking use you in Bethune-Cookman. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't playing in Bethune-Cookman, I mean, hell, y'all just played one tough team and a whole bunch of other slaps, and you wouldn't be in the play in this situation. So then he said, hey, coach, I'm going to just do a red shirt. I say, here's how you do it. You go in there, you tell Mario and you tell Beard that you're going to, take a red shirt, because it's obvious that you're not in their game plan and the mix or anything like that. And you'll just, you'll be there for emergency purposes. And so that's why you saw him out there dressing out every game. And he was just, sitting there. And if somebody got severely hurt or 2 guys went down and he had to burn the red shirt, he would have burned it. That's why he dressed out. He worked out. I say, don't say nothing to nobody. Don't, just keep doing what you do. Work hard, because you're really preparing yourself for the next team anyway. Right. So just take this year as, go on the scout team and continue working. Don't go sitting around the corner pouting. Put some work in and, work again. You're going to be working against the starters. You're going to be working against Frederic and all these DBs and all these people right there on the scout team. And so you're going to get good work in to prepare you for your next stop. And so that's what he did. And that was the mindset. And that was the whole game plan. So everybody's seeing him, what he's doing right now in East Carolina. Shit, this dude had a whole year. He ain't got no wear and tear on him. He was sitting over there for 2 or 3 years. And then he took the last year and then repped on the scout team against the number 1 team, the number 1 defense. So shit, he in good shape. And that's how it works, Street. It always worked different types of ways.
Yeah, it gets deeper than rap, bro. And a lot of the fans, I mean, they surface level with it, and they can't really see, like, what I'm saying, behind the curtain. And a lot of times you don't want to see what's behind the curtain, because sometimes you look behiund the curtain and you don't like what you see.
Yeah, everybody's fanned up. Everybody,
right.
Let me tell you, when you've coached 20 years like I have, there are kids who went to places and they did good. Artie Burns was one of my players. He went to Miami and he did good. He was a first-round draft pick. Right. Amari Cooper did good. He was a first-round draft pick. Carlton Davis, another one of my kids, did great. Rashawn Jones, all these kids did great. You know what I'm saying? And then there's ones who had to make transfers, who it didn't work out for them there, and they had to leave and go to another school and things like that. I never had no ill will towards school. It's more so, hey, and the kid, I'm like, yo, get your shit together, and you need a new start. And when you get into that new place, take advantage of it and just understand, look yourself in the mirror and say, these are the things that I did not do here. Now, there are some peculiar situations that some of us may get into, it's like, but you can't look. It's like, and that's why I love that kid Ray so much. He ain't looking at, okay, man, I could have been at Louisville with 1.6 million, and money could have been up, and I could have been in Braun offense, and I could have been the replacement of Tutu Atwell, and I could have been leaving and going to the draft. That kid would have been drafted this year. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even thinking about that. He thinking, this is what I wanted to do. This decision I made, and okay, I gotta live with it, man. It ain't over. Life ain't over. So now he's over at East Carolina. He got 2 years to get off. to get himself. Now, when he go in somebody combine, oh shit. And one thing, God don't teach speed. And when you got speed, heart, and ability, God don't that look. Shit, I want to go out there and run a 4.4 right now. And God ain't blessed me to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? I might run a 8.4. You feel me? And we have to exploit the things that he, so he'll be all right.
I mean, I think parents need to understand. Parents need to understand it's business. I remember talking to Rod Mack, and he understands it. Like, it's a business. The team has to have depth. The team has to have depth. The team has to have starters. Yeah, they have to have guys behind the starters, and they got to have guys behind the starters, because shit can go wrong, right?
Yeah,
right. The parents and the players, or whoever representing your child, you have to be able to see what's best for your child.
What's best for your child?
You have to be able to see that, because their job is to create a roster with a depth chart, and I don't blame them for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they got to do that. But the thing is, like in this same situation it's ironic. So you had Ray, he obviously had some outside influence. And you had Freeman. Freeman would not fucking move without asking me, Coach, should I go over here? So Freeman was in a situation. Randy Shannon and them did not want him.
Right.
He went to the camp, tore it up. He was the best running back at the camp. We got on the highway, went to Florida State. Florida State immediately offered him. He had no offers. That was his first offer, right? So he goes into that situation there. So we in there. Now, Al Golden comes in. And Al Golden calls me up. Hey, man, I've got to get this Freeman. I got no way in the world we can let him go to Florida State and all this. Now, mind you, Telly Lockett had all his players to leave early to go in December, which was the most unique thing ever. So you going in December. So Freeman going in December, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of people, again, rule. A lot of people don't know the kids that are going in December. Yeah, they might sign a scholarship, but they're not officially on that obligated to fulfill the obligations of that scholarship until they one day when they walk in school. Not like the other kids who sign later, who sign now but then go in later. But so Al Golden on the phone, no, don't let him go to class. I say he already signed up. It was like, no, don't let him go to class. If he go to class, then he'll be official Seminole up until. So we negotiate. We're talking to these, not negotiating, because back then it wasn't no money thing. We're talking to them, right, about this kid. And now he in a situation like he always wanted to be a Hurricane. He always wanted to play here in Miami. This Devontae Freeman. And he's sitting there looking like, Coach, what do I do? What do I do? They want me now. They want me now. And he damn near about to, he done put his clothes in his room. He getting ready to go to class. And he's like, Coach, what? I say, Freeman, one thing I'll tell you, I don't tell nobody what school to go to. Now, you need to go and pray on that. You already committed, getting ready to go into class. You got this man, Al Golden, came here begging that he wants you. And I'm like, Golden, they told me they had all these running backs. He said, ain't no damn running backs on this roster. I'm looking at this board. There's nobody here at Miami. This man's the best player. He's selling. We go, bro, we went all the way to 2 o'clock in the morning. This kid telling me, Coach, you are going to tell me where to go. I say, no, I'm not. Hello.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you can let him in. See there? Y'all get it right there. He said, I said, no, I'm not going to tell you where to go at, boss. I said, I ain't got to go to school for 4 years because I don't get into that. I said, son, you make the decision. I said, this is what you need to do. You go pray on it. Wherever God tells you what direction to go, that's the direction you may need to go. But you need to go pray. And so at the end of the day, I say, call me in the morning, right before that class, because that class was 9 o'clock. And he called me up and said, Coach, I'm going to stay. I say, hey, whatever your choice is a good choice for me. I love it. And he ended up, that's how he ended up. They put the full court press on that motherfucker at the end.
Al Golden did?
Yeah, Al Golden put the full court press on him.
Why did they have to come to that? I mean, I remember Najee Davenport telling me he told Miami, God damn it, bro. Y'all, hey, listen, y'all gotta come get this running back from Central. And they didn't do it.
Randy didn't want him. And I love Randy Shannon like a brother. Randy didn't want him, and Randy didn't want Charles Gaines Jr. He didn't want CJ. He didn't want T.Y. Hilton either. He didn't want these guys.
What was going on there, bro? Like, what was it personal? Was something wrong? What was going on?
No, Randy it's like my brother. It was like call him up. It was like they were like, no, he can't fit in our program. We got better running backs than him. And
Luke,
they told him that right
now.
there.
That make no sense, Luke. This man ran for 300 yards at the state game. Didn't he? 280 or some crazy? Didn't he, dog? Come on, Luke.
Go. They did not want him, and that's why when you see him play Miami, I think every time he played Miami at Florida State, he probably went over 200. Yeah. He took that shit personal. He was like, man, hold on. This man told me I couldn't play, but it wasn't Golden. It was Randy them. And so again, I think Randy was in we're gonna have Prime on next week. People,
Prime coming on. All right.
Yeah, I know we going 3 hours. I'm getting off of this joint because my food is here. Prime coming on next week.
And
the thing is,
fine food.
The thing is, and we're gonna talk to him about this, and I'll probably have another coach on also with black coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Versus white coaches. The black coach, why does the black coach don't necessarily succeed that often, right? Especially when they're in a rebuilding situation, other than Friedman over at Notre Dame. That's a machine, well-oiled machine already going. The black coaches care more about the black players than the white coaches. The white coaches look at them as a number. The black coaches look at him as their son. You know what I'm saying? We know more things than the white coach know. Why? Because we've lived that life. A guy like Prime will see that, you go, because he's seen some of his homeboys, you go in the wrong direction, balls. I already see, I'm looking in your eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? So we'll discipline a kid and set him down to save his life. You see what I'm saying? With them, they don't give a shit because they're another number. You know, you're a number. You just bring your ass on out there. All I want you to do is don't shoot nobody on campus. As long as you get your ass into the football field and you play, we're straight with you. That is what the white coaches want. But mind you, the black coaches, we're going to discipline you, we're going to suspend you, we're going to talk to you and all that because we already know, because we lived the life and we've lived that life and we want the best for you in this while you're here in this institution and when you're gone. Those white coaches don't care about them black players like that. I mean, look at how many kids you're gonna tell me Maurice Claret had issues when he left. When he stopped playing? No. A lot of these people, I mean, you're gonna tell me Beasley, who just got off of Shannon Sharp, and we all know Beasley, you know what I'm saying? Beasley, he had some things going on when he was in college.
That was Frank Martin. That was Frank Martin.
It's a ton of these kids. You know what I'm saying? It's a ton of these kids, but we care more about them than they do. They look at them like as if they're going to, and that's why when them white coaches leave, when they leave college football, basketball, whatever, then all of a sudden they say some racist shit, or they end up running to be mega senator, and you be like, oh shit. And that's okay. We ain't outraged enough about that. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't care. You know, we're gonna care. We're gonna care about Bobo. Like Kamani McClain.
Tommy Tuberville ate collard greens and recruited black kids for years.
And doing everything to stop black kids.
And then stop coaching football, and now all of a sudden talking about black people are the most violent people and all that type of crazy.
Exactly. And so what you were thinking, Tommy, when that was going on, but at the same time, and we don't know that. So that's why when people sit up here on all these social medias and these black guys in sports be so celebrated, oh yeah, Prime ain't win but 3 games. Oh, Prime this and Prime ain't this and Prime ain't that. You know, I sit up there and say, are you serious? You are the lost brother that you could only ever imagine. You're lost mentally, boss. If you're sitting there praying on the downfall of him, then you're praying on the downfall of yourself and your kids and every other kid and every other black man after him, before him. So how does that, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
real talk, Streeter. I bleed orange and green, but I would not have a problem if kids go to the University Colorado with Prime. I wouldn't have a problem with them going to goddamn Loxley at Maryland. You know what I'm saying? I want to see them brothers succeed because them brothers ain't in the picture. You saw the picture with 26 coaches. That's what college football looked like. That picture with Dabo Swinney and all the rest of them coaches on whatever retreat they was on, coming from some golf tournament. Not one black coach in the picture. That's the picture. That is what you're sending your kids to. 99.1% of them will leave college football and say some racist shit, or have already said some racist shit, and with no consequences, and then show you really how they care about your kids.
And they say, "Well, Luke, why you always talking about black and white? Like if you don't speak up for that one, if you don't speak up for the 1%, who is? Because obviously there's no spokesperson in the room.
Hey,
if motherfuckers can't be office coordinators,
as long as it exists, I'm gonna talk about it. But again, that's it, Streeter. We gotta go. I got to go. My man Streeter. Hey man, I enjoyed you today, man. I love you, my brother. That's Streeter from Footballville. Make sure y'all go check him out. I didn't cut Streeter off too quick. Y'all go check him out, man. He's over there at Footballville, all over the social media platforms. That Streeter have you on here all night. I can't do it. I gotta go. This has to be a marathon. And shouts out to Mike Silver. Shouts out to Chevron, Senator Chevron Jones. Shouts out to Miss Nixon, Senator Miss Nixon. Hey, look, man, this was a long ass show. Shouts out. Mike Silver. Mike Silver broke the record. Streeter. Mike Silver was the first white person on the Luke Show. First white guest, my friend. But hey, look, man, I want y'all to like, share, subscribe to the show. I don't know what happened with Facebook. We got dumped over there. But hey, look, man, I enjoyed it. I want y'all to go to my website. I'm running for Congress in Congressional District 20. We still have a district. And I just want y'all to go to the page. A lot of you guys are going to the page and you're donating the $5 because I can see it coming in. Some people donate $1. That's fine too. You know, I really appreciate it. We're doing some good numbers in the fundraising department. I got some very special fundraising events that's getting ready to happen. And if you want to be a part of them, you can go to my website. My man Khaled is going to do a fundraiser. My man Rick Ross is going to do a fundraiser. Shaka and all the guys in Atlanta, Ludacris and everybody, and Greg Street and all those guys on June 2nd, they're doing a fundraiser. On May 7th, we're doing a fundraiser here in Miami. And I think it's the 21st of May, another fundraiser with Ross, you know, and man, I'm blessed to have some good friends because they all want to be a part of this movement of me running for Congress, them making these heavy donations. And I appreciate you guys for the $5 to $10 or whatever it may be that you're making. Again, I love it. We're going to win this thing, man. With your help, we're going to win this thing, and we're going to go and fight for these people. As y'all can see, we're in a toxic situation, man. This man up here, Orange Head, is trying to do everything possibly to disenfranchise African Americans. And any one of his governor cronies, like this one, Ron DeSantis, is trying to do whatever he can disenfranchise African Americans in the democratic process. You know, we'll talk about this more on, I'm going to tape the show on Friday because the son got baseball game, playoffs. Shouts out to Pace Baseball. Hopefully they take this series and then move to the next round. And hopefully the kids get to state. But at the end of the day, in the words of Walter Cronkite, May the good news be yours.
Why was everything seemed to be going down at the award shows back then?
West came to the South. They had beef with Luke Skywalker and the Miami boys. Yeah, they don't tell that story. They don't tell that story where Luke came to the hood, got Atlanta and Miami folk. And we clear how.
And this is when Dr. Dre made Dre Day and Snoop is going, they all going at Luke. Man, them goddamn Miami, I don't know where Luke people, man, this was in Orlando, Florida, the Jack the Rapper. We're in Orlando, Florida. Them goddamn Miami niggas came through that bitch so thick, tearing shit up. Only real niggas that was at that Jack the Rapper know exactly what the fuck happened. But it was bad, you know what I mean? It was all bad. Just know that Death Row and Luke Skywalker is funking at this time.
That's when everybody met up. Because they doing their own shows, we doing our own shows.
All year long, and then when y'all finally meet up.
Yeah, because everybody had to go to Jack the Rapper. Everybody had to go to New Music Seminar. Everybody went to How Can I Be Down? Everybody went to the Southwest, whatever that shit was. Yeah, so that's where you see them.
Damn, so that's why it be like, every time, like when you go back and look up at the beefs and they'll try to pull up a beef from back then, it's always at the fucking award shows, or they always have these stories about the award shows.
And they got to understand, man, the South, boy, the South don't play. The South pulls no punches. We scared of nothing. We are not scared of the boogeyman.